Hello, salutations. What to do with Stop the Gamer, All Father, Durag Gang, you know the vibes like a scribe. Let's get it. Welcome, Durag Nation. We are back again. Happy Wednesday. Week is almost over. I mentioned I might do something like this again, but I wanted to add kind of like a weekly thing where I go over Marvel Spider-Man 2 news outside of videos. Just a live stream where we just hang out, go over the news, talk about theories, react to stuff. So we're going to make that Wednesday for now. So, how's everybody doing? If you're hyped for Marvel Spider-Man 2, let me know in the chat. Type 1 if you got the collector's edition. 2 if you got the deluxe. 3 if you hit that standard. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up, Ant? Nate Dog, No Cap, Federico, Craig, blessings. A lot of 2s, a lot of 3s. A lot of big spenders in here. Shout out to all my members. Appreciate the support. If you want to join the cool kids, become a member. !join is one of the ways you can support the channel. And you get some cool perks. You get the badges, you get the emotes, you get access to the private Discord, as well as early access to videos and exclusive content. How's everyone feeling? We got some stuff to go over today. I have a new video dropping tomorrow. I was editing it a bit before I went live. I was seeing if I could get it out before, but now I was like, nah, it ain't happening today. But we're gonna drop it tomorrow. Going over some more What's Up Original. Going over some more Spider-Man 2 news. Some pretty crazy stuff is about to happen. But we're gonna be talking about the Comic-Con situation for now. And maybe I'll go over the Spider-Man subreddit and see what's going over there. It's the Gwen Theory guy. That's what I am. What's up, Nate? I'm right now I'm just doing some Spider-Man 2 stuff, and then we'll see from there. What's up, No Cap? What up, Fire King? I definitely got to finish the video. Most of the editing is done. I just got to do the thumbnail and everything and finish the edit. Hope you have a great day as well. What's up, Random Hero? SoFan. I was thinking if there's time, probably not. I was thinking maybe doing a Spider-Man Remastered, but I might make that a separate stream because we got to do the Black Cat DLC. But we'll see. I just want to make this kind of a show, Wednesday show, where we just kind of talk about the news. What's up? What's up, Nawaflow? Ghost, what up? What up? That rap guy's enjoying the view. You bet he is. He does look a little zesty. Appreciate you, GTR, Burkay. Waiting for the new trailer. Same. So we're definitely getting a story trailer. So just want to get everybody a chance to come in here. All right, so let's get into the big news, because this is going to be pretty wild. I'm definitely going to be covering this live. Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. So I thought when I saw Comic-Con coming up that Marvel Spider-Man 2 was going to potentially bless us with a little something to help promote the game, because it is Comic-Con, huge platform. I knew Marvel was going to be there, even though the MCU stuff wasn't going to be as big as in years past. And of course, that's exactly what happened. Shout out to everyone who once again thought that I was going to be wrong about something Spider-Man 2 related and didn't think anything was going to happen at Comic-Con. When it comes to Spider-Man 2, at least, you should just take my word for it. A lot of cases. All my theories aren't going to be correct, but usually my intel is pretty spot on. Universe Mario 2, yes sir. What's up, YouTube Toby? Appreciate you. You want the keychain, posters, and the stickers? Yeah, they do look pretty. They do look pretty dope. Oh wait, do I have a picture of? Do I have a picture of those? I like the photo mode stickers. Those are pretty legit. The main villain is Venom and Kraven the Hunter and Nava and Lizard. What's up? So I checked to make sure that we didn't miss anything during this announcement. So I was going through the article and I think we have everything, but if anyone missed it, if anyone missed the video. So they of course confirmed right here that some of the panels will include one of the panels will include Marvel Spider-Man 2 and of course Marvel Snap, but I'm assuming most of the people here do not care about Marvel Snap updates. You are checking out Comic-Con's coverage primarily for Marvel Spider-Man 2. I think that's a safe assumption. I mean, who knows? Y'all might be Marvel Snap players. Might be some passionate there. Zoro coming through the 99 super chat. Just an emote. I appreciate it. No comment, just an emote. I'll take it. Sandman would be lit. Yeah, villain wise, I definitely hope Sandman. Hydra Man would be amazing. Sandman or Hydra Man, I feel like would be pretty crazy boss battles. I want Mysterio as well. I'm just a big Mysterio fan. Think they could do interesting stuff with it, but a Sandman boss battle would be crazy. What's up, Eastwood? Welcome. How do you play Marvel Snap? It's a mobile game. It's a mobile strategy game. I guess if you ever play a game like Hearthstone, it's pretty much that. It's like has some card mechanics, I think, as well. I didn't end up playing it after the whole controversy with the microtransactions. I was like, that's a red flag. So I just stayed away from it. Magic could be Venom, as in the movies. Facts. We talk about this morning. Talk about the some Spider-Man 2 news. We're going to go over the Comic-Con stuff and what to expect. So they confirmed the panel would feature Spider-Man 2 and Marvel Snap. They're fortunately going to be live streaming the entire thing. So I was just planning on streaming the event just for the game panel that will feature Marvel Spider-Man 2. But do y'all want me to like stream the full panel? Zoro coming through it again. $1.99. Appreciate you. I love your videos. Hope you go big. I appreciate you, Zoro. Thank you so much for the support. So that is the general effects. Will Venom turn into Agent Venom? That is a good question. I don't think he'll turn into Agent Venom, but if we do see Flash Thompson, I think that's definitely a possibility, a direction they can go. Gwen has not been confirmed to be in Spider-Man 2. So yeah, do y'all want me to stream, because they're going to be doing live coverage of all of the Marvel Comic-Con stuff. Panagos, Langston, Ray Lloyd, they're all going to be covering all this stuff. Do you want me to stream like the non-gaming stuff? Do you want me to stream like the different events like designing the X-Men. It starts on Thursday with designing the X-Men. So hit a 1 if you want me to stream all the Marvel Comic Con stuff. Hit a 2 if you just want me to do the gaming panel that will have Spider-Man 2. 1 for all the Marvel panels, 2 if you just want me to stream the Spider-Man 2 stuff. 1, a lot of ones, couple of 2s, a lot of ones. So y'all wouldn't mind me doing like all the Marvel arcs. So I may do a couple of these Marvel panels. We'll do at least one. I'll stream at least one Marvel panel before the Insomniac thing, just to see what's going on. Let me see what's even interesting. So they have Thursday is designing the X-Men. It's a podcast, and they're going to have a senior editor, graphic designer, Tom Muller. They're going to have artist Joshua Cassara from X-Force. They're going to talk logos, data pages, costumes for the Hellfire. They're going to do new costumes for the Hellfire Gala. So basically, they're going to do a deep dive into X-Men and the Marvel Comics for comics, and they're going to be doing a giveaway. And they're going to be talking about what's coming next for the X-Men comics. That might be interesting. Then there's after that, there's a art of storytelling panel where they're going to have veterans come and talk about, I guess, how they go into storytelling. I don't know about that one, because I feel like comic book storytelling has gotten pretty terrible so far. So I might skip that one. If they were having a art of storytelling and manga panel, I might peep that. If this is like older Marvel stuff, then that might be interesting. But this is like modern Marvel comic storytelling, and I'm gonna pass on that. Yeah, Naji and Yuri are going to be there for sure. So Friday is going to be Marvel Heroes, Hulks, and Super Soldiers. They're going to have a panel featuring the series with Moon Knight, Egyptian lore. They're going to go over Hawk, the Hawk run. So that's going to be basically mostly focused on a Hawk and Moon Knight. That'll be interesting. There's a fanfare panel where they have a conversation about just a general conversation about Marvel. There's going to be the tabletop panel for that new Marvel tabletop game. Okay. Now the big thing is going to be this is what most people are really going to be there for. So I might stream one of those. The big thing is going to be Saturday, July 22nd, Marvel Next Big Thing. This is the one you've been waiting for, the absolute can't miss event, featuring shocking announcements about the about the future of the Marvel Universe. Spider-Man's never had it easy, but what's coming next for him will shake the wall crawl to its core. Just coming through the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. It's Spider-Man 2, so you doubt Gwen will be playable. If she were a Spider-Woman, it would be Spider-Man 3. Now, just because she may be playable doesn't mean it'll be in the way that you think. So that's why in my video, I compared it to how basically the first game you had Spider-Man, Peter mainly being playable, but you also had a lot of playable sections of the game with Miles without powers, Mary Jane without powers. So if she would be playable in Spider-Man 2, I would assume it would be similar to how Miles was in Spider-Man 1, where there's maybe like a set piece, maybe there's like some symbiote stuff going on, and Gwen Stacy gets caught up in it, and you do some stealth missions or some stuff where you're trying to escape or whatever, something like that. They introduce the character, and then there's some kind of set piece involving her. That's what I would think it would be. But yeah, so this July 22nd panel, they're going to be talking Guardians of the Galaxy as well. But looks like this is going to be the panel where they're going to have Spider-Man 2. Either that, or I feel like it has to be this one, because the multiverse role-playing panel looks like it's just focused on the actual tabletop role-playing game. Yeah, and they seem to be really hyping up this one. So it should be that July 22nd one. So that should be the panel that has Marvel Snap and Marvel Spider-Man 2. You want Deadpool to make his arrival, since we already had Taskmaster? Yeah, I think Taskmaster will return for sure. Deadpool would be interesting. Daredevil would be interesting too, because they already introduced him they already basically introduced him as an Easter egg in Spider-Man 1, where they had when you unlock that I think it's a backpack token pickup, but it's Matt Murdock's card, basically confirming that Daredevil knows who Spider-Man is, and they met before. But he just met Matt Murdock as a lawyer. So, and they did say that at Summer Game Fest, Kraven the Hunter coming through looking for challenges. So all the Marvel characters in New York, Daredevil's a character in New York. And they already introduced him, so it'd be crazy if he popped up. How you doing, Taskmaster? Taskmaster in the chat too. Feel like when you fight Venom, all you have to do is dodge. All you have to do is dodge him. Maybe there'll be. I think we'll see how they do the boss battles this time around. But based on what we saw with the Lizard, it'll be a combination of things. Like maybe there's a chase scene. Maybe there's one where, similar to other boss battles they had, where you're like, where there's a dodge prompt here, and then you have an attack window here, dodge, attack, Or they could take advantage of the fact that Venom in the comics will have this thing where he doesn't trigger spider sense. So maybe it's like a horror stealth type of thing, where you're in a dark, maybe a warehouse or dark alley or something, and basically you're in a place where you don't see Venom, but he's there, and and you gotta like try to dodge without spider sense when he's trying to come at you. That could be really cool. Add that horror element to it. No Moon Knight, no Wolverine, no Gwen. Well, we know they got the Wolverine game coming, so Wolverine Easter egg sounds pretty likely. What's up, Lord? I am a canon event. Do you think the playable MJ missions will return? I don't know. They were so popular in Spider-Man 1. I think they're definitely for sure. I think they definitely took the feedback and are going to tone it down, especially since this game already has Miles and Peter as basically equally being playable. So I think they're definitely going to dial it back with the MJ stuff because of how much extra story they have to dedicate to playable Miles and Peter. What's up, Lucky Ray? But I did mention before, I think they're going to have some MJ stuff in there, because in the prequel comic, MJ, Peter, and Miles are working together. Like they even go specifically to a crime scene and investigate. and Mary Jane helps them fight. This was when they were investigating the hood. So I think there will be missions where MJ will be playable, but I don't think there'll be solo MJ playable missions like they were. I think there'll be more of like the hybrid stuff where it's like you have Peter and Miles, and they'll have one section of the mission where you switch to Pete, where you're Peter, and then Miles is in another part, and there's something that he has to do, so you switch to him, and then there's something that MJ has to do, and then you switch to her, and then you'll switch back to one of the Spider-Men. I think they'll have at least one mission like that, where MJ is along for the ride, and maybe she has to hack something, or they have to have her plant something or take a picture or whatever. She's just kind of snooping around and has to plant something, and then you switch to Peter or Miles and go back and forth with the combat. I don't think it'll be like any MJ solo stealth missions. Definitely not the volume that we got in the first game, for sure. Bootleg Lois Lane is not needed. That's tough. Drone missions with Genki, I can see that since Genki got himself a hunter drone. I can see some challenges, some side challenges involving drones, or maybe part of one of Miles's missions. Maybe the mission where Genki actually hijacks one of the drones will be a Miles specific mission. What edition? You got we asked earlier, a lot of people seem to be getting the deluxe edition, but fair amount of collector's editions. How will Miles get the symbiote off of Peter? The power of bioelectricity. One of the biggest weaknesses of the symbiote is electricity, and unfortunately, Miles has plenty of that. So he's going to be throwing some electric Hadoukens and Venom punches at symbiote Peter or Venom Peter to get him to come back down to Earth. And we just see how mad people will be with Miles playtime. Cope, yeah, they're going to have to cope with the seed because there's going to be a lot of Miles, which is great because Miles' combat is awesome. Got the launch edition standard, nice. Thunderburst, yeah. You think it's obvious Genki would be killed off? I think Genki being off is very unlikely, especially since they introduced him as helping them via drone. So the fact that he's got a so the fact that he's basically the man in the chair already reduces the likelihood of him being involved, but the fact that he also has a drone, so he doesn't have to physically be there, I don't think it's likely that Genki will be hurt. I think most likely it'll be MJ, or I think obviously the most likely casualty is Harry, but after that, MJ, Miles' mom. You want to pre-order on Amazon? There's only the launch edition. No, that's a different edition. Launch edition is basically the standard version of the game. The deluxe edition is the one that comes with the 10 special suits. You can the deluxe edition is only available for digital purchase. But when the game launches, you'll be able to buy the digital deluxe content separately from the store. You think they'll take off? Think Rio's out there? You think Rio's out there? That'd be tough. Imagine if Genki becomes a superhero in the future. I don't see it happening in the Insomniac verse. Why call it the launch edition? It's the launch edition. It's literally what it is. It's a launch edition. It comes with launch content. If you pre-order the launch edition, the launch edition pre-order comes with at launch you'll get early access to those 2 suits, the shadow spider and the arachnite, plus the web grabber. And then if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade to the deluxe. Be crazy and across the Spider-Verse. In the comic run in the past, dealing with Miles and Venom, Rio did not make it, but I don't know if Insomniac will go that route. Just make Miles a full orphan. That'd be tough. You want to fight the Spot? That'd be a crazy boss battle. No Gwen Stacy. I'm rooting for Gwen. I would have no issue with some Gwen Stacy. You want the Prowler suit from across Spider-Verse? Yeah, that suit is tough. I wonder how they would implement that. I speak about Comic-Con. Yep, we were just going over Comic-Con. So I have a video tomorrow that's going to go into depth about what else they're planning for beyond Comic-Con. But specifically for Comic-Con, I think they're going to show... I think a trailer is probably likely. I think because it's a panel, they're gonna have like maybe like Brian Intihar show up and maybe have Yuri and Naji. Maybe they'll join them, but I think likely they might be at a different part of the panel because Comic-Con pretty big for voice actors, so they'll probably be busy with their own booths, signing autographs and stuff like that. And they might be doing a Q&A as well. I remember the Najee Jeter, that clip that ended up blowing up. I think it was a Comic-Con panel that Najee was at. So maybe they'll I'll be on the lookout for that. If Najee Jeter is going to be doing like a Q&A, we'll stream that as well. But I think they're going to likely have like Brian Intihar on the panel to similar to Summer Game Fest. I think he'll talk about the game. He'll give reveal. This will probably be more about showing off more of the game. So I think a new trailer. I think this will be a good time to drop the story trailer. Maybe the pre-order gameplay showcase they talked about, where they're going to show off some of the new suits. How many more months until October 20th? Only a few. We're in July, so you got August, September, and then boom, you're there. Yeah, I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. Let me double check. I'll check his Twitter just to see what Najee's got going on. But let's see. Najee Jeter, Spider-Man. Still crazy that this dude, whoever uploaded this originally, like buried the lead. Like they treated it like a regular panel. They didn't even mention any of the Spider-Man 2 stuff. Someone had to watch that and be like, hey, wait a minute. So this was at SAC Anime Summer 2022. All right. So that wasn't Comic-Con. But I know Yuri and Najee are going to be at Comic-Con. So I'll see what they're talking about. Alistair Smythe. That would be interesting if they introduced Smythe. They have teased him. DLC, they can go a lot of different directions with the DLC. We don't know what their strategy is. the first DLC, they used it to introduce the Yuri Watanabe transition into Wraith, as well as bring in Black Cat. So if they didn't cover this during the main campaign, they could just do a direct sequel where they make a DLC where you're playing as Yuri and you're experiencing her being Wraith. You know, they can do that. They can do a Agent Venom. They could just do a regular Eddie Brock Venom DLC. They could do a Spider-Gwen DLC. There's a lot of directions they could go with the DLC. What's up, Capte? Last of Understanding. What it do? The aftermath is brutal facts. I know some guys pay to get stepped on, but probably not this aggressively. Yeah, I laid out my video exactly how they could introduce Gwen, because it's kind of perfect, because Miles' father, Jefferson, he's gone. He was Spider-Man's, him and Yuri were Spider-Man's allies in the NYPD. Both of them are gone. Yuri was also the police captain, so she's gone as well from that. So that role's open, which leaves the role for Captain Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy's father is a police officer, and he becomes a detective, but he eventually becomes police captain. So there's definitely a way to bring in Gwen by just having Captain George Stacy, either fill the role as new captain or become a detective and then eventually become the captain and help with the Yuri investigation. And then at some point he mentions he has a daughter, starting college at Empire State, that, and then because Miles is going to be going to college, there could be that connection there. That's how they could easily just organically bring Gwen into their universe. You really want to see a scene where Miles has to fight Peter and his symbiote? Oh, facts. That boss battle is going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because I'm thinking like if Peter is coming at me and I'm playing as Miles, I'm just going to be just spamming electrical attacks at him. It's going to be like dodge, electric, boom, boom. Make sure I don't get hit the tentacles, but boom, electric. And just give him I'm gonna stop Peter. I will absolutely dog walk Peter. Don't make him probably look interesting in the cinematics, but I will straight up dog walk Peter. That's just with Miles' powers from the last game. With the upgrades to getting in this game, I'm going to stop this man, bro. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for him, bro. I would set him straight quick. I don't even think he's going to get a hit in. I'm just going to be like, okay, cool. We're the cutscene's over. All right, Venom Punch. They might have to do like a cinematic. They might have to make it a cinematic fight, because if I have actual gameplay, I'm gonna just wreck Peter. You kidding me? I'm gonna hit him with the blue lightning, the yellow lightning, the Kamehameha, the Venom Smash, that Venom that power explosion thing. I'm just be wrecking this man, bro. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a wrap for Peter, bro. What's up, Taladia? Appreciate you stopping by. Happy birthday to CDA as well. Love to see the Spider team be built up across the DLC, so that way Spider-Man 3 essentially lets you play as a main Spider-Man team for the Spider. It'd be interesting if they set it up so that in the third game, Green Goblin is the main threat, and it's like Peter, Miles, and Gwen maybe having a team up to help. Maybe Carnage comes in as well. Hell, maybe it's since Norman is playing with the symbiote in this game, maybe it's not just Green Goblin, maybe it's Red Goblin. Maybe we're going to be doing that. Maybe they'll have Green Goblin, they'll bring in Carnage maybe, and then we get Red Goblin at some point in the game. So yeah, that I feel like if Red Goblin comes up, that'll definitely be a reason to bring in an extra spider person to help out. Red Goblin's a beast. Red Goblin don't play. Think the new form reactor is why Miles' electricity is blue sometime now. That might be the case, yeah. Imagine if in Gotham Knights, Damian Wayne might become Nightwing. Oh, Gotham Knights. Rip Gotham Knights, I guess. But I hope they still come out with DLC. I would love to check out some more. Birthday's next month. All right. Well, make sure you stop by when it's your birthday. We'll give you a proper celebration. Miles vs. Alex or Smythe. That'd be something, because we know they're going to be Miles. We know they're going to be missions where you're just Miles, and there's going to be missions where you're just Peter. And based on the gameplay trailer, it seems like Peter did some solo stuff where he was basically investigating what's going on with Harry. Somehow got the symbiote suit. Somehow got tangled up with Kraven and the hunt for Connors. So I think that will be Peter's focus, at least early on. So I wonder what they are going to have Miles focus on. Could be maybe Smythe. I don't know about that. But I don't know, maybe Morbius. Morbius was definitely teased in the first Spider-Man game. Or maybe since with the whole Genki getting a hunter drone, maybe Miles will specifically be dealing with Kraven. I mentioned that as a possibility in an older video, where Miles is the one that initially confronts Kraven, and his whole hunter thing. So maybe during that whole investigation thing, that's where Genki gets a hold of that drone. I can see that happening. Miles is the best. Miles is so much fun. The Chameleon will return. Possibly. I think we can see Chameleon. We know they're going to have older villains pop up. My hope is that there'll be villains from that were teased that Peter fought before, but we didn't see them. Like at least a few of those. Like we know Peter fought Mysterio before. We know he fought Sandman before. I hope those two in particular come back, especially Sandman, because Sandman, I mean, he's literally inside a vial. That doesn't seem safe. I feel like at some point, Sandman is definitely getting out of that vial. I don't know how secure that vial is. We better not see. I'm definitely done with Rhino. like if Rhino pops up again, I hope we just one shot him with like the symbiote, because we definitely had a lot of Rhino. For we had him multiple times in the first Spider-Man game. We had him multiple times in Miles Morales. I think we can retire Rhino. we had our fill of Rhino. I don't mind seeing some of the RAF inmates back, but I think we've had enough Rhino. Shocker definitely has to come back, specifically because we have Symbiote Peter in the game, and I want to hear them do the thing. Chameleon has to be in there. He's Kraven's half brother. He doesn't have to be there, but him being canonically related to Kraven definitely would make sense. As far as we know, it's just Kraven and his hunters that came to the city. They're there specifically for the hunt. My theory is also that they're working with Norman and Oscorp, at least so far as Norman specifically wants the Spider-Men. And since Kraven's there, maybe he reached out to hire Kraven, supply them with some weapons, and say, hey, capture Connors, capture the symbiote. Play some Miles Morales. Yep, I covered that before, but basically we're going to be doing replays where I replay all the Insomniac Spider-Man games leading up to Spider-Man 2. So we just finished in our last stream the story playthrough of Spider-Man Remastered on PS5. So the next time we stream Spider-Man Remastered, we're going to be doing the DLC. We're just going to go through all the DLC. And then after the DLC, we'll do we'll go right into Miles Morales. And then that'll lead us. I'm trying to stretch it out, but Miles Morales is pretty short. But we'll stretch it out how we can, and then it'll lead us into Spider-Man 2. Peter might become evil. I don't know about evil, but yeah, he'll definitely go. He's definitely going down a darker path. You platinum both Spider-Man games. Get ready for the new one for sure. Who else listens to the Cross Spider-Verse music? I'll play Miles Morales. I haven't tried that yet, but I did fall asleep listening to the soundtrack. It's such a banger. What symbiote suits do I want to see in the game? In terms of alternate symbiote suits, I like to see the 90s cartoon one. I think it would be cool. I think it would be cool if Insomniac kind of recreated, because they've done that before. They'll like do animated or cartoon suits, and they'll like recreate everything down to the frame rate and the aesthetic. So the 90s cartoon symbiote suit, the Web of Shadows one as well. I think that'd be interesting. And specifically, I don't want them to have the Raimi one, just to troll the toxic Tobey Maguire fans. but if they weren't going to troll them, obviously that would be an option as well. You want to see the spectacular Spider-Man black suit? See what Peter almost killed Kingpin in the comics. Yeah. Peter, when Peter's not holding back, he definitely a couple times showed Kingpin what it is. That storyline was iconic when Kingpin almost killed MJ, and Peter showed up, no mask, no nothing, just went right up to Kingpin, just beat him within an inch of his life. I was like, just no mask, was like, so you know what it is. I've been holding back all this time. Absolutely crazy that he could just wreck Fisk anytime he wants. That's wild. Don't mess with Aunt May. He will go off. Unfortunately, we can't have that in this game because in the Insomniac universe they already took Aunt May out. So so the only thing they could do, I guess, is threaten MJ, because there's no more May. But yeah, but the fact that he'll have the symbiote, I'm definitely looking forward to some scenes where Peter is just being extra. just he's not pulling those punches anymore. He's just previous villains that may have given him some trouble pop up when he's got the symbiote and just get one shot. like that would be awesome. I want to see him just one shot Fisk or Rhino. That would be amazing, especially with the performance that Yuri's been doing. His vocals when he's in the symbiote sounds so cool. Like he's bringing out the full Sasuke. You can definitely hear the I just unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan in his voice during those scenes. You really want to play as Venom? I definitely wouldn't mind the one hit difficulty. Yeah, I still gotta. I'm gonna try to unlock that in remastered. Spider-Man season two of what? Craven should not be Venom. I don't think Craven's going to be Venom at all. I understand why people thought that might be an option, but after listening to their interview about how they came up with Venom and designed the whole game, I don't think it's Craven at all, because they basically said they were setting up Venom since the first game. They were like, okay, we don't want to introduce the symbiote in Spider-Man 1 because that deserves its own game, so that's how that came about. And then they were just like, okay, we'll make it in Spider-Man 2. We'll do Venom. And then while they were making Spider-Man 2, they realized, all right, we got Venom, we got Lizard, but we want like another main villain to like kind of tie it all together. And that's when they thought they came up with the idea of bringing Craven the Hunter into it. So based on that, it sounds like they already had their Venom planned. They already had their storyline planned out. That's why they set it up in Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2. They already knew who Venom was. They already had that all set up. And then they decided, all right, we're going to throw in Craven in the second game, just like to tie it all together. So I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Craven is going to be Venom. I'm like 99% sure it's going to be Norman, but we'll see. One of the crimes are going to be like, I imagine they're going to be similar, but now that the Craven crew is here, I think we're going to have. I remember there was a leak, but I think it was more of a fan theory. But I definitely think it's more likely to be true. Usually, there's like with the Sable faction, you had Sable's mercenaries basically kind of setting up checkpoints, battling with the demons and having their own camps. I think with Craven, because they're hunters and they're specifically trying to hunt the Spider-Man and other people, I think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be like specifically like, oh, there they are. Let's break up this mercenary camp or something. I think it's going to be more like traps. Like you're just going to be swinging around and like you investigating. You investigate something. There may even be indicators like, oh, there's something here, or maybe there's like a hostage or something, and you go and investigate, and you think it's like a simple rescue mission, and then all of a sudden a mechanical dog jumps out at you, or and then Craven's people show up. I think it'll be like that. Like Gotham Knights has something similar, where you when you're free roaming the city, there would be like points of interest where it's like a chest, and you think, oh, there's a chest, so I'm gonna go get some gear here. But when you open the chest, it's actually a bomb, and then you have to dodge away from it. But after it goes off, the League of Shadows pop up and try to take you out. I think it'll be similar to that, where you'll just be going around and you'll suddenly get attacked, or you're going to be doing something you think is unrelated, like it's a rescue mission, or you find a clue to a previous mission, or you find like what you think is a collectible, and there's actually a trap set up with it, and then Craven's people come out and try to capture you, and then you fight them off. That's how I would do it, at least. What's up, Black King? Welcome. What if Groot shows up? I don't think that's happening. Caboose was wrong about Craven. Well, technically we don't know. We will have to play the game to see, but yeah, I think Craven is definitely not going to be. I think Craven made sense like as a possibility before we got that. I think the interview is what I think makes it so that I don't think Craven's going to be Venom. Like before, perfectly valid theory, but after the interview where they explain how they made Venom, how they came up with the storyline, I think that definitely eliminates Craven. I didn't think I thought it was a low chance anyway because they were clearly teasing Norman or Harry. Like they made people think it was Harry, but I thought the misdirection there was that it's actually going to be Norman. But they were directly teasing the symbiote and Venom in the last two games, and we know from the interview that when they wrote those teases and when those games came out, Craven wasn't even in the conversation. So I think they are definitely not looking at Craven at all. Groot is going to be Venom, imagine. Think we'll see Avengers characters. I don't think we'll see Avengers characters. I mean, there's an outside chance of Iron Man, but I think we'll more likely see Daredevil. He seems like a cameo that makes the most sense because they already teased him in the first game. I made a video about Gwen. I think there's definitely a case to be made that she could appear in Spider-Man 2. They have a very perfect way to set it up. And they did previously mention that or at least tease that she may in fact be alive in their universe. What up, Craig? Your son has been playing Spider-Man Miles, so he sat down to play, and it's been so long. He was getting beat down by regular criminals. Holy, it definitely takes some getting used to. I went straight to like the highest difficulty, just to jumpstart my way back in, and now I'm super comfortable with it. So I might do another playthrough on Ultimate or whatever. But right now, I'm just running around doing all the collectibles. I just unlocked the Black Cat suit, so when I do the next stream for the DLC, I'll have her suit on. I think Juggernaut should be in Spider-Man 2. No, definitely not. Wolverine, yeah. Wolverine makes sense. Juggernaut makes sense because he's not really a Spider-Man guy. People mainly more so associate Juggernaut with the X-Men and Wolverine in particular. He could kind of be that game's Rhino will essentially could be Wolverine. Wolverine's Rhino could be Juggernaut. That could be a way to like test. Because Wolverine is, going to be carving up a lot of regular enemies. So it'll make sense to kind of like challenge him by putting in like someone like Juggernaut, where you can't just straightforward, slice and dice him. Like some strategy involved. And it could be a really cool set piece. I can see Insomniac doing that. Juggernaut was always a Spider villain to me. They've definitely crossed paths, but I think Juggernaut is very commonly associated with X-Men. He was in the X-Men movie, the live action movies. Juggernaut, clashed with the X-Men in the 90s cartoon comics. It's obviously had a lot of comic book run-ins with the X-Men. So I think most people, especially casual Marvel fans, would associate Juggernaut more so as a X-Men specific villain rather than a Spider-Man villain, because Juggernaut more often than not is involved with the X-Men in some way or another. I think the symbiote is definitely an alien. They definitely left an Easter egg to the Ultimate Comics, but I think there is definitely more evidence, I think, that it's going to be an alien. Not just with the design and how they talked about the way they're going to have it evolving and changing, but they also had that Easter egg in Miles Morales where it looks like Oscorp straight up went into outer space and did some exploration up there. So I think we're going to find out that during one of Oscorp's space exploration missions, they came across the symbiote and it brought it down. They did some, and then they, tested it. And that's how we got the whole Norman, Harry's mom thing going. Huge Spider-Man 2 fan, as you should be. Do you think Green Goblin will be in this game? I don't think it will fight him in this game. I think he'll be officially revealed in Spider-Man 2. It's possible, but I think most likely they'll save the actual Green Goblin fight for Spider-Man 3, but they'll introduce Green Goblin officially in Spider-Man 2. If Norman's going to be Venom, they could still either make Norman Venom. They could still either make Norman Goblin. Like there are a couple ways they could do that. Have Norman become Venom. Have him lose the suit, and after he gets that taste of power, he decides that the best way to defeat Spider-Man, deal with Spider-Man, is to essentially level up with that, level of power that he can control. So that's where the Goblin Serum will come in. The other way they can do it is they can just straight up have Norman go to jail or get offed, and then have him before he goes, him and Connors complete the Goblin Serum as a cure for Harry. And then Harry takes the Goblin Serum to cure him of his illness, but it makes him, a little more unhinged, and he blames Spider-Man for, losing his father. So I think that might actually be better if they do it like that, because Harry currently there's no real reason for him to be Venom, apart from the fact that the symbiote straight rejected him as a host. But it makes sense if you still want to have that conflict between Peter and his best friend Harry, have Norman die while he's Venom, and then the Goblin Serum that he developed to cure Harry cures Harry, but it not only doesn't make him, a little crazy, a little more violent and aggressive, but he also naturally hates Spider-Man because he blames him for the death of his father. So that hatred combined with the effects of the Goblin Serum make him eventually become the Green Goblin of the third game, where we'll like end the Spider-Man 2 with like a cutscene maybe where Harry is in an Oscorp lab and he discovers like a bunch of the tech that Norman's been working on that they've already been teasing, like the helmet, the glider. We saw the pumpkin. We saw those gas bombs already in the gameplay trailer. So he puts it all together and it sets it up for him to be the Goblin in the third game, where it's Harry, versus Peter, who he doesn't know is Peter yet. But Peter knows Harry is the Goblin, or finds out he's a Goblin, and that creates this whole interesting tension between them. I think story-wise that actually makes more sense, having Harry be the Green Goblin, because Norman and Harry and Peter don't really have beef. Like, they don't really have compelling beef. Like, Peter doesn't particularly like Norman that much because, Norman's kind of a dick. But it's not like a hatred. Like, he had a really strong emotional connection with Dr. Octavius, because that was his mentor. He looked up to Octavius. He literally wanted to be Octavius. He loved him like a father figure. And then it became that much more tragic when his condition and the and the implant made him become Dr. Octopus. But he hasn't really had that connection with Norman. He's just his best friend's dad. He's just that guy. He's a sleazy politician. He hates him and Octavius had beef. You know, he kind of screwed over Dr. Octavius, but he never really had any strong emotional connection with him one way or the other. Whereas Harry is literally his best friend. You know, Peter has very few friends, but his main friends are MJ, his girlfriend, Miles, who's like his protege, and Harry. Like Harry, that's his guy. So having Harry become Green Goblin, to me, has a much more emotional impact than just Norman being Green Goblin. I feel like Norman being Green Goblin would just be for the sake of, well, most people recognize him as Green Goblin, so Green Goblin. But story-wise, it makes much more sense to me for Harry to be Green Goblin and Norman to be Venom with the way they've told it so far. That makes more sense to me, because Norman hasn't taken a serum. We know he's developing the tech, but nothing has really so far led us to think he's going to be Green Goblin, other than the fact that we know Norman Osborn is Green Goblin historically, and that his company is developing the Goblin tech. But it makes more sense for Harry to take the serum story-wise, and it's more interesting if Harry is Green Goblin because him and Peter have that connection. Whereas Norman, they would have to build that connection over the course of this game, to me, but for it to make sense. But even then, it's like, how are they going to do that? Because Peter mainly cares about Harry, saving Harry here, and Norman wants the same thing. So they're like on the same page. They don't have like a direct conflict, except Peter has the symbiote, which Norman may or may not need, apparently needs back. But they don't really have a direct conflict. So it makes more sense if Norman is a villain, but Harry becomes the Goblin to get revenge after Norman. Because I think more likely Norman may accidentally get consumed by the symbiote, or may take it to, maybe Craven backstabs him and he's tired of being powerless, so he takes the symbiote and it gets all venomized. But to me, I think Harry as Goblin makes more sense. Do I think they'll add a bit of Miles villains in Spider-Man 2? I don't think so. Apart from Prowler, who's not really a villain, I don't think we're going to see anything, because Finn isn't alive anymore, and the billionaire guy, the rich tech bro, is in jail. So I don't see that happening. I don't see any reason to bring out either one of those. The only other villain Miles really fought in his game was Rhino. we already have our feelings about Rhino. What's up, Sky Preach? Appreciate you. How you feeling, my friend? I definitely, but like I said earlier in the stream, I think we're all done with Rhino. He also stopped Kingpin, but he didn't. But again, that's a Spider-Man villain, and he didn't fight Kingpin. Kingpin was doing some shenanigans from prison, and Miles had to investigate and deal with, Kingpin's people. But again, that's a Spider-Man villain, not a Miles villain, and they didn't even fight. So yeah, more likely this is going to be, we're going to see some villains from Spider-Man 1, from the Sinister Six, and of course the new villains that they're adding. What's up, Quay? How you feeling? I mean, original villain cast. I can see Kingpin coming back. I can see the Raft being involved. Like, remember, like there could be a breakout at the Raft. The Raft. I feel like there's always something. There's always a prison break, but I think there could be at least a trip to the Raft because we established in Miles Morales that Kingpin is still operating despite being in prison. So maybe they go to the Raft, pay him a visit. Maybe Kingpin does some stuff and they go pay him a visit. If they wanted to go to superior Spider-Man angle, which I don't think they should necessarily, but it'd be still cool regardless. If that's the case, then we'll see Doc Ock again and a visit to the Raft. I think Shocker will definitely pop up again just for the meme. Maybe Lizard. Scorpion. Matt Goggin was Venom in the comics, so maybe they'll bring in Scorpion as like a misdirect. Bring him back. Yeah, they basically showed on the map who we could potentially expect, but most of them on the Raft. The ones that aren't on the raft, Prowler is going to escape. I mean, Prowler's going to get out, I think, on good behavior, or was already out. But I don't think he's going to be a villain. Black Cat is around, so we'll probably see her pop up. Taskmaster is still a thing, so I think they'll continue that. Screwball could be for the memes. Shocker definitely. Rhino maybe because they just are obsessed with Rhino. But Sandman would be one of the villains that we didn't fight, but were teased. Like they have villains from his rogue gallery that he fought in the past that we didn't see. I think of those, they could just bring in someone we didn't fight yet, like Hydro Man. But Sandman to me seems the most likely because he's literally just in a vial that just seems so unsecure. Like if Sandman's in a vial, if that's the only thing holding in Sandman, I feel like it would make sense for him to come back because someone just literally breaks the vial and lets him out. Maybe Craven, since he's looking for a hunt, he's trying to hunt, he's looking for challenges. Maybe he finds out that there's actually a super powerful enemy who turns into sand. It controls it. That's just sitting in a vial. And he sends his people to go get the vial and set it loose on the city. Perhaps, partly as a challenge, but also maybe to distract Peter since he's trying to capture Lizard. That seems to be his mission. He's trying to capture Lizard and symbiote. So maybe to create more chaos, he sets Sandman loose on the city so that the police and at least one of the Spider-Men have to prioritize stopping Sandman while he's free to focus on capturing Lizard. That could be fire. I just love Mysterio. I think that would just be cool. But Hydro Man or Sandman, I feel like either one of those would fit because they definitely need a big set piece. All these games start with like a big set piece fight, and I don't think you should do Venom too early. So either Kraven in early encounter with Kraven, or maybe Wraith, or Sandman, Hydro Man. That would make sense. Hobgoblin, they haven't even set up Hobgoblin very much, so I don't think that's likely. At least early on. But Green Goblin, yeah, we just talked about Green Goblin. I think he'll be introduced in this game, and I think it makes most sense if it's Harry. You think Peter's black suit and Venom will be independent of each other? The way they're basically describing it is that the symbiote is like an addiction. It's it's corrupting Peter's mind. You know, it's partly alive. But there's also seems to be an icon in the gameplay that indicates that you'll be able to switch the suit back on and off. But when you're not wearing the suit, we saw in the gameplay sample that Spider-Man's combat is going to be gadget based with when he has the standard advanced suit. They showed in that gameplay clip that he has the iron arms that they brought in as a suit power from the first game for the MCU suit, and they've now incorporated that into the new advanced suit and added some new moves, some new combos, so that it's similar to the symbiote that has special abilities. There's the specific arm you can just bring out the arms anytime, not just as a suit power. And they have special combos involving that. I think there'll be gadgets. Of course, there'll be gadgets as well. What's up, Brandon? How you feeling? Do I like the lizard design? The lizard design is I'm at. From what I saw in the gameplay trailer, I thought it looked decent, but not the biggest fan. Looked a little too crocodile-y to me. But he still looks cool. It still looks very menacing. Would be a ways to get the black suit a whole skill tree and not let us use it after the main story. Oh, for sure. I think it'll definitely still be able to use it. Went out the iron arm. So they showed in the gameplay sample that we got in the Across the Spider-Verse that it basically works just like in the reveal trailer, where you've got some new combos, including launch combos where you launch enemies in the air with the arms. I mean, we got a little sample of that combat in the first game when you unlock that MCU suit and that suit power, but they're going to expand on it with just adding more combos and stuff that you can do with it. Kraven's no match for symbiote Spider-Man. Well, that's the thing. Kraven is not only strong in his own right, he's a hunter. We know he has a lot of tech at his disposal, and he's very smart. And he's definitely, if he is watching and his hunters are keeping track, if they encounter any hint of a weakness with the symbiote, which we know there's several: fire, electricity, and sound, then he'll be able to use all of that to deal with the symbiote. So I don't think it's going to be straightforward like that, because the symbiote is a double-edged sword. It gives you it gives you power, it gives you access to more abilities, but the downside is it corrupts your mind, and it's vulnerable to certain elements like fire, electricity, and sound. Like even in the gameplay trailer, Miles has to bail Peter out because the suit makes him overly aggressive, and he gets shot out of the air by their hunter drone when it shoots a bomb at him, when it shoots a missile at him, and it kind of takes him out temporarily, and Miles has to go in there and help him. They're keeping track on that. So when you're fighting hunters and you're fighting Kraven, he's definitely going to be deploying that tech. So it's not going to be a straightforward fight. You F with the slingshot. Yeah, the slingshot, the traversal is going to be so much fun. Like, not only am I looking forward to the new swinging animations, but you're going to be getting around so much faster. You got the slingshot, the wings. It's going to look so cool. Especially since they're going to have the cape mechanics to go along with the wings. I can't wait. the arms are going to be part of the suit. They're going to be an ability that you can unlock. In the first game, the arms were a suit power, but in Spider-Man 2, it's going to be one of Peter's special abilities. Like both, they added this mechanic where both Miles and Peter have special abilities. They're in the form of those wheels that appear in the gameplay. So for Miles, the wheels represent different electrical attacks that he can do, and we saw some of them. And for Peter, when he's the symbiote, they represented different symbiote-based attacks that we saw, and we saw those, different finishers and moves involving, expanding the power of the symbiote, using the arms, using the tentacles, and stuff like that. And for Peter, when he doesn't have the symbiote, that ability wheel and everything is going to be focused around the iron arms. What is your opinion on this game? I don't have one because I haven't played it, but everything I've seen so far is great. Who would I say is Miles' Sinister Six? Does he even have one? Because there's a lot of, well, in the Insomniac universe, he doesn't have one. He's new. That's so basically he's encountering largely the same. He hasn't built up enough of a reputation to have his own Sinister Six. And of course, in the Spider-Verse movies, he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one either, because in the first movie, their big encounters with Kingpin, who was a Peter villain, and Dr. Octopus, female Octopus Dr. Octopus is in there, but he gets his main villain in Across the Spider-Verse in the form of the Spot. That ends up being his big bad. So I don't think he has Sinister Six, at least not in the Across the Spider-Verse or the Insomniac universe yet. I may has always figured out that Peter is Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm sure she's known for a while. He's not that subtle. Anyone be open to change suits for Peter Parker, like for the blue and red? I feel like Venom will kill real Miles, and Miles will be furious and try to go after Venom. Maybe. There was talk that symbiote Miles would be a thing. I don't know how that's going to vibe with his bioelectricity, but I feel like Peter's the one that's going to be wilding out in this game. I think that's what they're setting up here. The screen I'm on. Oh, this is a screenshot from the mod. From the mod gameplay. But yeah, in the gameplay that's in the Spider-Verse movie that they released that Sony released, there is a menu, there is a ability wheel at the bottom of the screen, and we see him literally using the iron arms. In the official gameplay reveal, we don't see any indication of that, but we do see a symbol under the health bar that makes it look like it represents the suit, which makes sense if there's switching between both suits. But the ability wheel in the official gameplay under Venom is strictly Venom abilities. None of them are related to the Iron Arms. They're just Venom abilities. They're just symbiote abilities. So I think Spider-Man 2 will be Game of the Year. Definitely not. I think the games journalists have already given it to Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom, definitely either Tears of the Kingdom or Final Fantasy 16. They've been glazing that pretty hard. Tears of the Kingdom, they're acting like is like the greatest thing ever. So I think it's gonna be Tears of the Kingdom. I think most likely, if anyone dies, it's going to be Harry, odds on Harry or Norman, but MJ is also a possibility. Do you think? I think Peter will come close to crossing that line. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna go so far as have Peter actually do it, but I think he'll come close. Oh, we get Prowler Miles from Cross the Spider-Verse. Definitely looking forward to some Cross the Spider-Verse suits. Yeah, like I said, I don't think Peter is going to kill anybody, but there's definitely going to be, I think, times where he comes close to it, and it'll most likely be somebody he's fighting while he's in his symbiote form. So that could be anybody he's fighting. We know he's going to be fighting. We know he's going to be fighting. Probably going to be fighting Miles, and we know he's going to be fighting Lizard, and we know he's going to be going back and forth with Craven and Craven's people. Please, Garrett MJ. Lucky really hates MJ. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna. I think they definitely learned their lesson from the feedback they got in Spider-Man 1. I think they definitely took that feedback to heart and was like, yeah. A lot of people didn't like all these stealth missions where we're powerless. Because we saw in Miles Morales, it was a lot more streamlined. They mainly focused on the action. The missions where we were walking around, it was basically Miles, and you were basically just investigating stuff or building some story stuff. We didn't have any ganky stealth missions or anything like that. So I think there will be at least one mission where we do some MJ stealth stuff, but I don't think it would be like a solo one like we got in Spider-Man 1. I think it'll just be like, it's a mission where you're switching between Miles and Peter and MJ. So Miles has to do one thing, then you switch to Peter, then Peter does the thing, then you switch to MJ, then MJ does the thing, then you switch back to Peter, and start fighting. But if they introduce Gwen, I could definitely see a little bit of that as well. Or if they want to do Eddie, have some playable Eddie stuff. But I think there's definitely going to be less of the powerless stealth missions than we had in Spider-Man 1. Because there was a lot in Spider-Man 1. I don't think there's going to be as much. Imagine Craven getting the symbiote. I don't think it's happening at all. Do you think the Prowler can best Mysterio in a fight? I mean, sure. I don't see why not. If he knows how to deal with Mysterio and his illusions. Yankee Joe missions gonna go kind of hard. Yeah, I think it's very likely that Gwen will be introduced for sure. It's too perfect. Spider-Man doesn't have any allies on the police force anymore. With Jefferson gone and Yuri now Wraith, and there's no police captain. I think that's too perfect for them to just ignore her, especially with how popular Gwen Stacy is now. I think they're definitely going to have introduce George Stacy as the new police captain, and introduce and reveal that he has a daughter named Gwen, who's in college at Empire State. He's about to start college at Empire State. We don't know anything about how long the game is, but we do know the map size will be much larger. I think they said double in size. So, take that for what it's worth. The map size will be double what it was in the last game. So that should give you a clue about what to expect. When I don't think if they introduce Gwen, it definitely won't be as a Peter love interest. it'll be as a Miles Morales love interest. I think they're going to introduce her as a classmate for Miles at Empire State, because Miles in the prequel comic is starting college soon at Empire State. So I think they're going to introduce Gwen as, oh, she's a classmate of Miles, and her father works for the NYPD, and maybe her father works with Peter to help track down Yuri. That makes more sense. Prowler, pretty much by the end of Miles Morales, was a good guy. You know, he turned himself in, he did his time. So the only way Peter would fight Prowler is if Peter is pretty much so far gone on the symbiote that Miles has to deal with him. So I could see like an intervention where if they want to introduce Prowler back into the story, Miles, Prowler, maybe even Black Cat. There's like a whole boss fight where all three of them are trying to deal with Peter as the symbiote, while MJ is trying to talk him down and get him to come back. Maybe he's gone full Venom, and Miles brings in like Prowler for help along. You know, that makes sense. Otherwise, they have no reason to fight because he's not a villain anymore. What DLC would I like? Ideally, I think I would love a DLC. I definitely want a DLC where you're not Spider-Man. Like I think that was the biggest complaint with The City Never Sleeps. They introduced Black Cat, but you don't get to play as her. Like playing as Peter is fun, but when you introduce a new character in the DLC, I think a lot of people wanted to play that as that new character. So I would want a DLC where you're not playing as Miles and Peter. So whether that's a continuation of City Never Sleeps where you're Black Cat, or you're Wraith and you're dealing with Yuri as a full-on vigilante, or they do a DLC that sets up Eddie Brock as the next Venom, or maybe as the anti-Venom, or Flash Thompson's Agent Venom, or something like that, or Gwen Stacy. They introduce Gwen in the main game, and then they use the DLC to allow you to actually play as Gwen, as Spider-Gwen. We'll be getting other gameplay in the summer. Yes, we will. Back when the cartoons, MJ was Carnage. That'd be an interesting twist if they gave MJ the symbiote. After the story is done, I definitely think there's going to be, they wouldn't just not let you play with the symbiote suit. They have a whole skill tree for that. Yeah, you're just going to be able to do it whatever you want in free roam. I don't see any issue there. But yeah, I have a video dropping tomorrow. I'm going to talk about playable Venom. I'm going to talk about some cool big Spider-Man marketing push that's coming after Comic-Con. So that's going to be fun. Definitely look out for that. I'm almost done, so I'm gonna finish. Once I'm done the stream, I'm gonna finish that video, and it'll be out by tomorrow. October can't come soon enough. It's pretty soon. I mean, we're already it's July 5th. Time is flying. Before you know it, it'll be August, and then when August is over, September, and then once you're in September, it's like, well, next month. The story trailer is going to be shocking. Shocker! Imagine they reveal the identity of Venom at Comic-Con. I don't think they're going to directly spell it out, but I feel like they kind of did. I think they gave as big of a hint as they're going to give us at the Game Awards concert, where they literally put Norman Osborn on the screen with the symbiote reaching out to him, and then cut immediately to Venom. It said Spider-Man 2. Like, the fact that they put that up during the Spider-Man 2 main theme, the whole, not only did they put in the post-credit scene where Harry's in the tank with the symbiote, it's rejected him and reaches out to Norman. They edited that scene. That's not even the original scene that was in the game. They edited that specifically for that event, so that we were looking at Norman from Harry's perspective. And then they showed Norman. Then they ended it like Norman was showing Norman where the symbiote reaches out to him. And then they immediately cut from Norman to Venom. They're not going to get any more blatant than that. It was surprising when they straight up said Eddie Brock is not Venom, but I think that was just misdirect. I don't think they're going to get any more blatant than that. I think they'll likely reveal another villain. You know, so far the only confirmed ones are Venom, Kraven, and Lizard, and then all the characters that were on Kraven's map, but we don't know if they're actually going to be in the game. We just know that they were in the gameplay demo as people of interest that Kraven might be interested in. So maybe they introduce another villain that we'll run into, or confirm another older villain that's going to come. But I think at Comic-Con specifically, we'll most likely get an interview and maybe some new concept art, some new screenshots, and I think they're going to do the deluxe edition trailer that they mentioned, where they're just going to kind of show us some gameplay and a trailer, or a new trailer. I think last time they did a trailer and they kind of just showed like different suits switching on and off Peter. I think they'll do something similar where they'll do a new trailer that shows Peter and Miles going in and out of the different pre-order deluxe edition suits. But the story trailer is coming, and I'm pretty sure I know when. I'm gonna cover all that in the video tomorrow. Do I think Kraven will take out any of the villains they showed in the gameplay trailer? Possibly. I don't. We'll see, because most of the people in that. So the Sinister Six are all in the raft. So it's possible Kraven might do a prison break to let them out again. But more likely, I think he's going to target the ones that aren't in prison. So maybe he'll target Daredevil, maybe he'll target Black Cat, Prowler, Taskmaster. That could be fun. Hope they study hard on Web of Shadows. I hope they definitely take some stuff from Web of Shadows, but mainly I trust in Simon to like do their own thing. What's up, King Josh? We've been talking about different theories. At the beginning of the stream, we went over the Spider-Man Comic-Con information, what to expect from the panel, when that panel is, and what we'll likely see from Comic-Con Spider-Man 2 showcase. We're going to be, of course, live streaming that on Saturday the 22nd. What's up, Ion? Symbiote, Spider-Man, and Black Cat couple. Yeah, that was straight out Web of Shadows for sure. I could definitely see the symbiote suit not making Peter as cringe as Tobey Maguire was in the Raimi movie, but definitely more edgy. But the thing about Black Cat is she said that specifically she doesn't like bad boys. If you remember during Spider-Man PS4, when you were doing the Black Cat side missions, she left a voicemail, and flirty voicemail, And she specifically mentioned she doesn't like bad boys. And we know Peter, not a bad boy. It's a sweet boy. It's a sweet boy with spider powers. So I think more likely, even though Black Cat is edgy, I think she'd be more concerned with Peter than attracted to him in the symbiote suit. Like, for sure, I think she'd dig the new outfit and the extra alpha energy. But I think it'd become clear that he's not the guy that she fell for anymore, and it's a problem. Like Black Cat toes the line. She's a good person. She just commits crime, but she usually robs criminals. She's not a villain. But Peter straight up pulling his punches, yelling at his friends. I don't think Black Cat's going to be very attracted to that type of energy, especially if he gets aggressive with her. So I think more likely she would be like, "Yo, what's going on? What's going on, Pete? This ain't you." And you got a girl like I don't think Black Cat's about that life. I think she would try to help Peter rather than encourage him. That's not the Insomniac Black Cat. Web of Shadows Black Cat, sure. Insomniac Black Cat, nah, she's not like that. Remember Mary Jane missions, Lee Scott? No. I think we're going to get at least one. Have a great rest. I appreciate you, Brandon. You too. Playable Black Cat, definitely need that. Do I have any knowledge of what's going on with the Wolverine game? Only thing I know about Marvel's Wolverine is that Insomniac is focused on Marvel's Wolverine and Spider-Man 2. That's all they would say. And nothing has leaked about Wolverine. The only Wolverine related info we've gotten is about hiring. They've been hiring people. I think they just brought in a new writer. But yeah, that game still seems pretty far along, but I think after Spider-Man 2 is done, they'll shift the marketing focus to Wolverine. Because I think it's coming out in 2025, not 2024. And once Spider-Man's done, then they can focus on pushing for that next game. And if PlayStation has another showcase, I think we'll see something else for Wolverine, or maybe we'll see it at the Game Awards at the end of the year. What's up, SDO? How you feeling? As long as they let Venom take over New York, you're good. I appreciate you. When you pre-order Spider-Man 2, you won't let me play. Yeah, that's not how pre-orders work. When you pre-order a game digitally, I don't know if that's your first pre-order, but the way digital pre-orders work is that it basically reserves the game on your system. So there's this thing called preloading where once you get closer to the launch of the game, it will download onto your system, but it'll be locked. And once the restrictions are lifted, where usually it's like midnight, then you'll just immediately be able to play it without having to wait for the download. That's how, but when you pre-order it, it doesn't mean it's live. The release date is clear. The game is playable on that release date. Pre-ordering digitally just makes sure that this gives you the opportunity, gives you, bonuses that come with the pre-order, but also allows you to preload it so that once it's midnight, you're ready to go, you can just, start playing. What's going on San Diego Comic-Con? San Diego Comic-Con, they're going to be having a video game panel. We believe the specific one is on Saturday, July 22nd, Marvel Next Big Thing. They're going to be showing Marvel Snap, and they confirm that they're also going to be showing some Spider-Man 2. Insomniac also tweeted about it to confirm it, but our first confirmation came in this article that was shared by the VP at Marvel Digital, where they confirmed that they're going to have a special panel just for Marvel Spider-Man 2 that will be able to check out. And I have the tweet from Insomniac as well. And that's basically what we were talking about before. I think they're going to show the deluxe edition trailer. To me, that seems the most likely. And there you see Insomniac officially confirming it. See you at San Diego Comic-Con. Sincerely, Insomniac Games. In response to the article about the panel and what to expect. They're also going to have that exclusive Spider-Man 2 poster being sold by Mondo. So if you actually are going to go physically to San Diego Comic-Con, definitely head over to the Mondo booth, because they're going to be selling those limited edition Spider-Man 2 posters. I think there are going to be like 280 of them on site that you'll be able to buy. Otherwise, they're going to be all gone. I'm not going to be able to go, but if anyone is going to go to San Diego Comic-Con and you're feeling extra generous, definitely go pick me up one. I would definitely love to have that poster and put it up in my room. Thank you very much. This is a mod. Shout out to It Is Spid. He dropped that banger video showcasing the new Spider-Man PC mods. What's the craziest theory I believe for Spider-Man 2? The craziest theory that I believe? I don't think there's any theory that I've heard that I would describe as crazy that I actually believe. Like the whole Spider-Verse thing, like the whole thing where there was a leak. There was a whole thing about how at the end of the game a portal opens up and Spider-Gwen steps out of it. I don't think any of that's happening. I don't believe it. I don't believe any of that. All the other theories, I guess I haven't heard any crazy theories that I thought were valid. Most of the theories that I think were valid were like, yeah, that makes sense, because they were kind of based on what we saw. When I think about the Kraven the Hunter trailer, I think it looks like Morbius 2.0. So I think the Spider-Man 2 story DLC will happen. At this point, it's either going to happen at Comic-Con or during Game Informer, or post. It could be post-launch, but if they are going to announce DLC, Comic-Con would be a great opportunity, as well as during the Game Informer coverage, assuming they get that. I don't think Miles is getting a symbiote. Peter is the one that's getting more aggressive, more angry, and I think Miles is going to have to eventually throw hands with Peter and try to get the symbiote off of him by hitting him with that Kamehameha. I think Genki will be fine. I think he's got his drone. He's not going to be involved. I think Genki's fine. What's up, Connor? I don't think Peter's going to do anything to Genki. no, I think, because the symbiote. Here's the thing: the symbiote doesn't make you evil. It feeds on your already existing negative emotions. Peter isn't evil. He isn't someone who would not do anything to Genki. He would have no reason to even fight Genki. Like, it's, you saw perfectly in the gameplay trailer. He's still fighting to save people. He just, does it rudely, like when he throws that guy, and he's, rude to Miles. But if Peter was going to go too far in fighting someone, it would be like a villain. Like, he's trying to go fight Connors, who's the lizard, because he needs Connors in order to help save Harry. And Connors is already in the lizard form, and Peter had that famous line where he's like, Miles is like, oh, he's got big teeth, and he's like, so do I. So you can definitely see that encounter going sideways, with Peter obviously needing to be aggressive to deal with Lizard, because Lizard is very powerful, but being in the state of mind of the symbiote, not pulling his punches, and maybe he takes it too far and seriously injures Connors in the process. Or he does it for another villain. It wouldn't be a random person like Genki who like, no, that's not how it works. No, I don't see that happening. What's up, Gamer Shorts? Yeah, I covered my Green Goblin theory before, but I think he'll be introduced in the game. The Game Informer coverage is the Game Informer cover game for July is Armored Core. It most likely won't be October, because they won't get a full month of coverage. But they could still do that. So you have October, you have September, and you have August left for Game Informer. Most likely they wouldn't do October. But they could. So it's still a possibility. But most likely you have September or August. How dark do you think this game is going to? It's rated T for teen. It's not going to get that dark. But they did confirm in the rating dead bodies. There will be dead bodies. So I think that's going to be, that could be from Venom, could be from Wraith, because we know Yuri's out there knocking people off. So I think that'll happen. But we're not going to see anyone get bitten in half or anything. It's not going to be like the Wolverine game. What's up, Michael? Good afternoon to you. It's going to be definitely a lot more chill. T for teen, not M. I think Mary Jane will react. How exactly how you expect MJ to react? Her and Miles are gonna do what they can to basically they're gonna basically do an intervention, I think, at some point. Yeah. They're definitely going to be like, Miles already is feeling the extra aggressive Peter. MJ is going to definitely get it, because she already gets on Peter's nerves as it is. So she's going to notice something's off, because she knows him better than Miles knows her. So she'll probably, be trying to help figure out what's going on. You seen this game on Amazon? Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, yep. You can pre-order it. Should be able to pre-order it pretty much everywhere at this point that games are sold. Do you think he'll accidentally off MJ? That'd be pretty dark. Yeah, in October we'll see the Xbox channels smoking that copium. Definitely there'll definitely be some Xbox fanboys coping hard. They're already doing it. When do you think Injustice 3 will be announced? Not anytime soon. I saw Caboose made a video about this. because we got some insight from Ed Boon about the development process for the new Mortal Kombat game. And it sounds like there were a lot of issues they were dealing with. Obviously, they were dealing with the pandemic and everything. And they were trying to decide on their next game. And it sounds like they were working on Injustice 3 at some point, but ended up pivoting to Mortal Kombat 1. So that ended up being what they prioritized. But they didn't rule out doing another Injustice at all. So but they seem to have prioritized Mortal Kombat 1, which makes sense if they were having issues related to the pandemic and, trying to make sure they wanted to make sure they got a game out. And Mortal Kombat was probably easier for them to develop because I believe they switched to a new engine as well. So Mortal Kombat 1 is the priority now, and Injustice will be a long way down the line, but I think they'll eventually announce, once they're completely done with Mortal Kombat, I think they're going to work on Injustice 3 next. Favorite fin to be humbled by symbiote Spider-Man? Facts. Injustice 3 finna be extra delayed now that they're not gonna have Cameron Conroy anymore. But yeah, just in general, yeah, they had a lot of development delays, and that's why it sounds like they prioritized doing another Mortal Kombat game instead of another Injustice game. So it'll definitely be a long time before we actually get it. But I think it's something. I think that's going to be what they're doing next. MJ going to get powers? I mean, never say never. She's gotten powers in the comics. It can definitely happen. Najee Jeter said them symbiotes is everywhere. Go get the deluxe edition. Yeah, that's to me the best deal. You get everything from the launch edition. The Shadow Spider and the Arachnite suit plus the web grabber and the skill points. And then for just $10 more, you get 10 extra suits, a couple extra skill points. I think that's the better deal. Just in terms of everything you're getting, it makes sense to get the deluxe edition more so than the collectors. I haven't heard any credible people talk about the NetherRealm fighting game that I remember, so I'm not taking that particularly seriously. Unless Jeff Grubb, or Tom Henderson or Jason Schreier said they heard something about a Marvel fighting game from NetherRealms, I'm not taking that seriously. Do I know anything about the pre-order problem with Spider-Man 2 in the United Arab Emirates? I do not. But if you're specifically talking about Saudi Arabia, I mean, there's several problems that I could think of related to you not being able to buy Spider-Man 2. I mean, I think Across the Spider-Verse was banned in Saudi Arabia, I think. Saudi, that particular part of the world tends to take hard stances against games or movies that have LGBTQ support in any way, shape, or form. So it could be most likely related to that, or it could just be a distribution problem. Who knows? But usually, if you can't watch or buy something over in Saudi Arabia, that's why. Because the last two games definitely had some stuff that would get banned in Saudi Arabia. So maybe they preemptively banned Spider-Man 2. I think Capcom will make a new Marvel vs. Capcom. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know how much demand there is for it on Capcom's end to do another one of those Marvel licensed games, but we'll see. You only pre-order collector's editions for certain great games, and this is one of them. Yeah, I'm mainly here for the statue. I want to support. I got the donation. That's why I was able to. That's why I ended up getting it. But to me, the biggest appeal of the collector's edition for Spider-Man 2 is the statue. Otherwise, I would have happily just pre-ordered the deluxe edition because then I'd be guaranteed to play the game at midnight. If I don't get a review copy of Spider-Man 2, then that means I have to wait until the deluxe edition arrives, which won't be until UPS or whoever gets here on the 20th, or unless I buy it again as a deluxe edition, digital. I think Rio Morales is going to survive. Craven, Venom, Wraith, Prowler, Kingpin, Taskmaster, Lizard. Oh, you just confirm everyone playing the game all night. Facts. I've been pushing for Sandman to be a villain in the game for months now. He's the out of all the villains Insomniac Peter has fought before, Sandman is the one I most want to see pop up in Spider-Man 2. The story will probably take place at the events of Miles Morales. Yeah, they already confirmed that. Spider-Man 2, the game takes place 10 months after Miles Morales. And they even showed the prequel comic where MJ is back from her trip and she's promoting her new book, and Miles is about to start college. So yeah, we already know it takes place after Miles Morales, being a direct sequel. Which, I mean, it was obvious from the reveal trailer, since Miles and Peter are fighting together. You know, Miles Morales comes into his own in his own game. So it wouldn't make sense if Marvel Spider-Man 2 took place before the events of Miles Morales, when Miles has new abilities and is more comfortable with his powers based on just what we saw in the reveal trailer. But yeah, specifically they said 10 months after Miles Morales the game. Sandman is so good, they're probably saving him for the third game. I mean, they have a lot of villains they could throw in. I mean, Sandman, you can have him in this game, and then you can bring in like Hydro Man for Spider-Man 3. And you'd have a similar boss fight in terms of scale. Hydro Man, Sandman, like that. That's what we need. just that big set piece battle that takes you throughout the city. You know, have like a small Sandman just got out of the vial, that he finds some sand nearby and he starts growing and growing, and then all of a sudden there's a giant sand tsunami chasing you through New York, and that'd be so crazy. I love it. That would be so epic. The Jackal, that'd be cool. Think Prowler could have escaped or got released after he snitched on Roxxon. I'm pretty sure in Miles Morales he turned himself in. He did his time, and I think he's getting reduced. I think he's getting reduced sentence because he snitched and cooperated. So he should be out. Any chance of Marvel's Avengers 2? Zero. None. Nada. Like I said before, there is zero, literally zero chance of a sequel to Marvel's Avengers. It is done. It's over. Once September is over, the lights are getting shut off. The developers have already moved on to new projects. The game is getting delisted. There is no Marvel's Avengers anymore after this. It is over. No sequels. It's done. It could not be any more done. Not only have the developers that were left, the few that were left, I mean, some of them aren't that were working on the game that were left aren't even working at Crystal Dynamics anymore. But everyone else at Crystal Dynamics is either working on Tomb Raider or they're working on Perfect Dark. And based on the latest information, Perfect Dark lost most of its original team. So Crystal Dynamics is pretty much carrying that project by themselves. And it sounds like it's pretty far along. So they're going to be working on Perfect Dark for a long time. And right now they're trying to get the Tomb Raider for Amazon out the door. But the Embracer Group specifically had a deal fall through that we think was with Disney to develop Marvel and potentially even the more Star Wars games. But if that deal, Disney pulled out of that deal at the last minute. It was supposed to be worth like $2 billion. So they have no deal with Marvel. So they can't even do a licensed Marvel game. And because that deal fell through, combined with some other issues, the Embracer Group had to cancel some projects and close some studios. So there is literally no chance of them doing a Marvel's Avengers sequel. At all. None. They couldn't if they wanted to. Which they don't want to. Because they had the chance to do so. And they said no. They had the chance to keep supporting Marvel's Avengers, and they said no. It is sad. We wanted Avengers to be what it could have been, but it's not happening. It's over. On the way for Marvel Spider-Man 3, they should give us a prequel origin game for Peter. That would be sick. I was thinking about that before. Because we got little snippets of what Peter went through before Spider-Man PS4. Mary Jane talked about, patching him up when he got really hurt. Talked about, how Kingpin used to really give him some trouble. We know he fought Sandman in the past. We fought Mysterio. He's encountered Lizard before. So like a prequel game where you're like Peter when he's just become Spider-Man, early in his career or just early in his career. That would be insane. Just a small like Miles Morales size game. Or even a DLC where it just focuses on a particular night, maybe, or something like that. A series of DLCs. Maybe that could be the Marvel Spider-Man 2 DLC. That could be another option. A series of 3 DLCs that are prequels. That just tell that each DLC is basically a flashback going back to Peter's origins, where you fight some of his different villains. So you got Mysterio, you got Sandman, you got some Kingpin. Like that would be fire. Some Lizard. That would be fire. If that made that a game, I would definitely get that game too. That would be tough. Yeah, as much as some of us love Marvel's Avengers and wanted it to succeed, it was objectively a failure. And That's how the gaming industry sees it. There is zero desire for anyone in the industry to be any way associated with Marvel's Avengers. In fact, there are literally studios that are disrupting their own projects because they're afraid of being compared to Avengers. Like Gotham Knights was definitely going to be more live servicey. Same with, and Rocksteady had the same issue where they were like, we really don't want, like, Gotham Knights straight up pivoted because they really didn't want the Avengers comparisons. That's how people are terrified of people even associating themselves with Avengers because it's so toxic. Marvel's Avengers as a brand was so toxic, it negatively impacted the sales of Guardians of the Galaxy, which was one of the best games in the entire year and one of the best superhero games ever made. But because people were so afraid that Square Enix was going to put out another Avengers, they stayed away from it, and it didn't sell as much as it should have sold. Is there an Iron Man game coming out? Yep, I covered it in a couple videos, but last year, Motive announced that they're developing a Iron Man game. EA, Electronic Arts, announced last year they were doing a deal with Disney where they're going to do at least 3 different Marvel games. And the first one they revealed was Motive's Iron Man. Motive, of course, did the Dead Space remake. And they're doing Iron Man. We just found out recently that it is not only single player, it is going to be built in Unreal Engine 5. Should be a little DLC if you have to teach Miles how to swing. Like one of those challenges. Will be like Web of Shadows. I think we've seen evidence that there's going to be a button that lets you switch between the advanced suit and the symbiote suit during combat. Hope we get a Black Panther game. That was leaked already. Yeah, I made videos about that as well. According to Jeff Grubb, before EA and Marvel officially announced their partnership, there were a couple leaks that I covered on the channel. There was one from Tom Henderson, who mentioned something about Iron Man being developed. And there was a big one from Jeff Grubb who mentioned that they were developing a Black Panther game. And it was going to be open world, but you wouldn't be able to be T'Challa. It would be like a game where you're the new Black Panther. And not long after that, EA announced their Marvel deal, and they confirmed Iron Man would be the first game. When do you think Marvel shows more of an Iron Man? It's not up to Marvel, really. It's up to the developers. So Skydance New Media is doing the Black Panther World War II game with Captain America. I thought they would do something at Summer Game Fest, but they ended up not showing us anything new. So like I said before, there are a few dates this year that we could see something more superhero wise. There's always Comic-Con, especially since Marvel is having a games panel, but they specifically only said Spider-Man 2 and Marvel Snap, but maybe they'll surprise us with something else during that showcase. But last year there was a Marvel event in September specifically built around Marvel games. And there's, of course, the Game Awards. And they could always just skip all of those, but most likely it'll be at some awards. That's what they did. That's what they did last time. They like to cross promote with other events. So it'll be at one of those events. So I think Wolverine will make an appearance. I think he'll be teased in maybe like a post-credit scene. I don't know who's voicing Harry. I know they got a new voice actor. I don't remember who's the voice actor or if they announced it. So I think it's going to be the Venom host, Norman Osborn. Can Peter choose a path? This isn't like going to be choose your own, like a morality thing. That's not a new mechanic they add. What's going to happen is Peter, over the course of the game, is going to get more and more corrupted by the symbiote suit, and eventually, we're assuming he's going to have to fight Miles, and Miles is going to help him get rid of it. But yeah, the Miles, Insomniac doesn't have that feature in their games. So a theory that Genki might be. I've seen all sorts of theories about who's going to be Venom. The Genki being Venom thing makes about as much sense as J. Jonah Jameson being Venom. I think those are long shots at best. Spider-Man 2, the PC port, based on Insomniac's current schedule of PC ports, we should expect the PC version of Spider-Man 2 either in mid to late 2024, probably late 2024, or 2020, sometime in 2025. How old am I? I just turned 375. Think Peter will keep the suit since it has its own combat. There's no way that at the end of the game, when the story's over, you won't be able to use the symbiote. Of course, you'll still be able to in free roam. If JJ became Venom, you'd be happy. You could finally fight him. Facts. I know. Ever since the first game, we've been ready to have J. Jonah Jameson run our fade because he'd be talking real reckless on that podcast. I know I just wanted to pop into that studio and give him a good uppercut. So if he gets a symbiote, and that would give us an excuse to throw hands, I'll be with it. It's probably the most compelling reason to give J. Jonah Jameson the symbiote, just so we can beat him up. 90% haters are PS4 players. I don't even think that. I think from what I've seen online, most of the Spider-Man 2 hate is coming from Xbox players. Definitely some people that have PS4s aren't happy that it's going to be PS5 exclusive, but most of the toxic stuff is really coming from, I think, a lot of Xbox players, just fanboys, not just normal Xbox players, just the fanboys, because this nonsense console war that everyone can't seem to get over. Every time an Xbox game comes out or a PS5 exclusive game comes out, we see the same stuff pop up with people, these fanboys going to war with each other, like they actually work at these companies. It's all goofy. That's why Xbox players should get a PS5. Correct. You're a PC player, you bought a PS5 last year, and we saw the Spider-Man 2 real chiller. Facts, like PC players are chill because they're like, oh, well, we can just get a PS5 because and we can have access to Game Pass anyway. So they can kind of get everything. Like they have access to Game Pass. Console games get ported over to them, so they're just chilling. Favorite live action Spider-Man, Team Andrew. Andrew is the GOAT. What's this live stream? We've been talking about all the latest Spider-Man 2 news that popped up, particularly the news from yesterday about all the new Spider-Man 2 information that's about to drop at Comic-Con. We need some new DC games, definitely. What's up, Abdullah? Love you too. Yeah, DC definitely needs to start getting on the ball because they're way behind Marvel right now. So I'm glad that the new CEO seems to understand that video games are actually important and that they should be taking advantage, and at the very least taking advantage of the fact that they own a lot of really lucrative IPs and putting out games. So we already got the Wonder Woman game coming out, and we know that WB Games Montreal is working on a new DC game. So that's two new ones. One of them we actually have a trailer for, but we don't have another one. They need to at least announce a Superman game. I think that's going to be WB Games Montreal one, but they should definitely get some more DC projects rolling. Superman game will sell like hotcakes. Facts. As much as people cried about Gotham Knights, they would 100% buy a Superman game from the same studio in a heartbeat. There's no way. There's no way they wouldn't. I don't think Miles will have the symbiote suit. They seem to be setting up so that Miles is going to be the counter to the symbiote because of his bioelectric powers. So I'm not seeing how the symbiote would work with him. I have no idea what the DLC is going to be. They have so many different directions that they can go into with the DLC. They can do a direct sequel focused on Yuri. They could do one focused on Spider-Gwen. They could do one focused on Venom. They could do a prequel with Peter fighting old villains. They can do so many different directions with the DLC. I have no idea which way they're going to go. But I do hope they have DLC, and maybe they'll announce it at Comic-Con. That could be a great place to announce it, but maybe closer to launch, because last time they announced DLC pretty early because they were making it part of the collector's edition. So because they didn't make the DLC part of the collector's edition, I realistically don't think they're going to announce DLC until after launch. Because otherwise they would have done it like last time and used it to sell the collector's edition. But since they didn't, then that tells me either there's no DLC at all, or DLC is something that's going to happen much further down the line. Carnage is definitely possible. A new Deadpool game will go crazy for sure. Yeah, I'm not worried about the graphics. Spider-Man 2 game, Spider-Man and Spider-Man games always look good. Miles Morales looked fantastic, and that was partially developed on PS4. Spider-Man Remastered looked great. I'm not particularly worried about it. Especially people crying about water. I think it's going to be just fine. We're going to be going crazy in photo mode. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not worried at all. They haven't confirmed anything about the suit, but based on the gameplay trailer, there will be suit switching during combat, and just based on common sense, you'll be able to play the suit at the end of the game, because they wouldn't go to the trouble of making the symbiote suit something that's like so integral to the game that it has its own skill tree, only to not allow you to play it once the game is actually over and you're just free roaming. Like that'd just be weird. Just be like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't use a suit anymore. Like, no. that'd be crazy. Jabide, happy birthday, Dalian. Durag Nation wished him a very special birthday. J. Jonah Jameson DLC. How he built his podcast empire. How would that work? That'd be pretty funny. The game could be 120 FPS and there's still going to be snowflakes crying. Oh, for sure. Because you know, there's always going to be the Tobey Maguire snowflakes. They haven't gotten crazy yet, but you already know. As soon if they see some suit announcements, and they see that the TASM 2 suit is in the game, but they don't see if they don't see any of the Raimi suits. Like, first of all, if there are no Raimi suits in Spider-Man 2, you know they're going to throw a tantrum. You already know that's coming. Like, if they bring over the Raimi suit from Spider-Man PS4, but they don't have the Spider-Man 3 symbiote Raimi suit, they're going to complain. If they don't have the suit at all, they're going to complain. They're all Raimi stands. Those Toby fans are always going to complain about something. They are never satisfied. They are some of the most toxic members of the Spider-Man fan base. That's why I personally am rooting for them not to have any Raimi suits at all in the game, just to spite them. Because, like, bro, they had a complete meltdown because the Raimi suit wasn't in Spider-Man PS4 at launch, even though they were literally working on it as a surprise. And then when they did release the suit, they started complaining because they thought that the only reason they got the suit was because they complained about the suit, and they were like, well, we shouldn't have had to complain about the suit. No, shut up. You all suck. And I hope they never have another Raimi suit in a Spider-Man game again. Cope. I hope it's nothing but Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield suits from here on out. How you like that? Learn some manners first, then maybe you'll get a Raimi suit. How about that? You think there will be a Spider-Man 3? Yeah, this is not. Yeah, I've answered this before. There's definitely not going to be the last by any means. Like, at the bare minimum, this is going to be a trilogy. I don't know why people are worried that this is going to be the last Spider-Man game. You know how much money this franchise makes? Also, you don't stop a series at number 2. You got to do a trilogy at the bare minimum. But the amount of money this franchise makes, yeah, they're not going to stop at Spider-Man 2. That'd be crazy. You know how much money how much money? It made over $1 billion off Spider-Man PS4 alone. And that's not even including how much money they made off Remastered, how much money they made off the PC port of the Remastered. Then they made tens of millions off. Miles Morales sold like what, 10 million plus. Then the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, then the Miles Morales PC port. Like, they made so much money off making these Spider-Man games. There's no way they're not going to keep. Even if Insomniac is tired of it, Sony's not going to let them stop. Sony's going to be like, you're tired of making Spider-Man games, huh? Yeah. Tell that to somebody who cares. You get back in the kitchen. Start making us some Spider-Man games. We gotta sell the PlayStation 6. So start working on your next Spider-Man game. Or I'm gonna hire someone who will. Like, so Sony ain't playing, bro. Sony is about their money. They're not letting them stop now. You're like, oh, you're tired? You're gonna cry? You're gonna cry? Too bad. Make another one. Make another one. literally the only possible way we wouldn't get a Spider-Man 3 is if the world ended or somehow Spider-Man 2 flopped. And the odds of the world ending are much more likely than Spider-Man 2 flopping at this point. You better see some exaggerated swagger of a black teen. Hell yeah. You definitely will. Miles is more comfortable. He's got his suit powers. He got his new blue powers. Imagine Black Cat getting a symbiote and the game makes you pick a good or evil. I don't think it's going to be anything that crazy. But I wonder how they would. I mean, they're obviously not going to have her be Venom, but I wonder if they did, I'd be looking forward to the design that they would go with for a Black Cat version of Venom. Because it would definitely be more feminine, more likely, than if anyone else became Venom, I think. Toby is definitely not the GOAT. Are we in for an announcement? We already got the announcement. That's what we were talking about earlier in the stream. The announcement from yesterday about San Diego Comic-Con. I broke all that down again, and I have a new video coming out about another announcement related to Spider-Man 2 that's coming. Look out for that tomorrow. They already spitballing ideas for Spider-Man 3. I'm sure they have planned and put Easter eggs in Spider-Man 2 that are directly going to lead us into Spider-Man 3 for sure. Obviously, Andrew is the best. Obviously, Andrew is the best Spider-Man. No doubt about it. Hope in Spider-Man 3, Peter and MJ will have a kid. And the kid will be... Andrew is the GOAT. Facts. That is correct, Lockby. Basically a Karen and a... Did you just call Black Cat a Karen? What's wrong with you? You'd rather see Black Cat from Web of Shadows? Down bad. But you're not wrong. Has there been any update on Suicide Squad? The only update is that it ain't coming out until 2024. And even then, I'm skeptical. Look at the little Spider-Man here. I wonder, it would be interesting. I think most likely they're going to set up Peter to still be in Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, but it's possible that Peter retires in this game and they make Spider-Man. I don't think the odds are great, but it's definitely a possibility of Peter retiring in Spider-Man 2, and they make the game for Spider-Man 3 about the others. But I think most likely, yeah, Peter will go into Spider-Man 3. Maybe him and MJ will figure it out. Maybe they won't. Or maybe they're setting up Spider-Man 3 to be his last game. Did you get the new advanced suit or the symbiote suit for Halloween? So the new advanced suit is fire. Obviously, the symbiote suit to me is better, but if you're going to be out and about, at nighttime, you might want to go with the red suit. It stands out more. You won't you won't blend into the shadows and get run over. And it'll be harder to see the details on the black suit. But if you're going to be in a well-lit, party or something, then it won't matter too much. How many times has Suicide Squad been delayed? A lot. So back in 2016, I think they announced a Suicide Squad game, and then they promptly announced. I think that's 2016 was when I think they announced. Jason Schreier announced that it was canceled. Then in 2020, they did the reveal trailer. Then Then they announced that I remember Gotham Knights was delayed, and then they had the Suicide Squad was supposed to come out in 2023. Everything got delayed because of the pandemic, and then they had the gameplay reveal for Suicide Squad, and then like at the beginning of the year, we had I think Jay Schreier again came out with a report saying there was going to be a delay, and then we got the official confirmation that it had been delayed to 2023. And then 2023 happened, and then we had the state of play, and then they delayed it to 2024. So we have a cancellation and 2 massive delays. Or at least 2 or 3 massive delays. 1 cancellation, 1 pandemic delay, and then the year-long delay, and then the recent delay to 2024. Andrew Goatfield, correct. Imagine if they tied in the very last Spider-Man game, the upcoming Spider-Verse movies. That'd be insane. I mean, they're already connected, the comics at least. They showed that they're connected, and in the movie. But I don't think Insomniac is going to go that far. Maybe an Easter egg in the actual game. You bought a PS5 Spider-Man 2. I bought a PS5 for Miles Morales. I already knew what time it was. I was like, should I get an Xbox or a PlayStation? And I looked, and I was like, okay, Xbox is easier to get, but all these Xbox games that are coming out look pretty mid. And PS5 is launching with Miles Morales. So I'm gonna have to grab that. And that's how it ended up. So Squad will come out in 2099. It might actually. Need to send me something in regards to Gotham Knights, which was scrapped post-productions. Oh, sure. Thank God they made a different symbiote suit, because if they just painted the original's advanced suit, it would have been over. The advanced suit would be bad. I don't know. I've seen mods of the advanced symbiote suit. It looks good, but it's definitely much better that they took the time to design their own suit, even though people were complaining about it, of course. But I like what they did. I like what it looks like now, especially during combat. It looks fantastic to me in combat, especially. But they also confirmed the suit's going to be evolving over the course of the game, so I'm all on board with what they did. Now, all Raimi Spider-Man fans are toxic. There's a group of toxic fans, though. Oh, for sure. For sure. But, yeah. Do you think Kevin Conroy, if it's likely, if you're seeing Spider-Man fans being toxic about a movie character, about a movie Spider-Man, 9 times out, actually 110 times out of 10, it's a Toby fan. I've never seen Andrew fans be toxic in regards to Insomniac. I've only ever seen Toby fans being toxic about it. Do you think Kevin Conroy's passing pushed back a multiverse story? I don't think so. Multiverse had a lot of issues that they had to sort out. And they've shown they have no problem getting substitute voice actors. Really hoping they drop Spider-Man PS5 like they did with the 4. Yeah, I would be shocked if there's not a custom controller and custom PS5 plates. I'm shocked they haven't announced them by now. But Comic-Con, maybe they'll roll them out there. Definitely for launch, though, for sure. Sony likes money. Trust me, they're not going to leave money on the table for this. They're trying to figure out how to make Suicide Squad more like Gotham, more like Arkham games, because all the bad reviews. I don't think that, because if the delay is only for 9 months, then they don't have enough time to meaningfully change the game. The only thing that gives them enough time to do is like change the always online feature, maybe tweak the combat, plan out DLCs and stuff like that. But the base game is still going to be the base game. Thoughts on lizard design? Not the biggest fan, but it still looks cool. Definitely don't want any more rhino. I have had more than enough rhino fights. I mean, we played him a lot. We fought him a lot in Spider-Man PS4. We had multiple rhino fights in Miles Morales. I'm done. Like I just did my playthrough, my replay of Spider-Man Remastered, so we got to relive all those rhino fights again. I am done with rhino. Please no more rhino. For the love of God. Also, we are almost at 47. We're at 47,700 subs. We are almost at 50,000 subs. Holy. I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting, whether you supported the merch at Fan Dominion or the custom controllers or you're a channel member or you just donated directly or just watched the videos, dropped a comment, shared. All the support has been greatly appreciated. We are almost at 50K subscribers. A number I did not realistically expect once I started this channel back in 2021 making Hawkeye videos. So thank you, Durag Nation, for the continued support. I definitely got to do a giveaway once we hit 50,000 subs. For sure, that's a special one. We won't just do a subscriber special stream. We gotta do a legitimate giveaway. The more support we get, the bigger the giveaways I can do. I'll ideally like to give away PS5, but I need a little more revenue for that. But it's definitely something I want to eventually do. Maybe by the time we hit 100K. But I definitely want to, at the very least, give away maybe some copies of Spider-Man PS5, Spider-Man 2. Maybe I'll pay for your copy. I'll pay for some people's copies of Spider-Man 2. If you don't have one. Will Symbiote Suit or Advanced Suit choose Black Cat or MJ? I feel like it would more likely choose Black Cat, but I don't think Black Cat would choose the symbiote. Because what Peter's had ongoing conflicts with MJ. They even had some issues in the prequel comic. Because obviously they weren't together until the end in Spider-Man PS4 because they had these issues where she's basically mad because she felt like he was treating her like she was helpless, even though she quite literally is. She's a 90-pound journalist. She has no combat experience. She has no powers, and she's constantly inserting herself into dangerous situations that Peter ultimately has to bail her out of. And Peter's whole thing, which is basically, allow me to protect you. That's literally my job. Don't put yourself in harm's way unnecessarily. I know you're competent, you're strong, whatever, but you don't have powers. Allow people to help you, especially ones with superpowers. And it took the whole game basically for MJ to figure that out. So they had that conflict. And then in the prequel comic, they had some conflict because Peter asked MJ to move in with him. Like currently he's living in Queens. He's not in that apartment anymore. He's living in Aunt May's house. But, obviously it's expensive to own that house. And he asked if she wanted to move in, but she said she wanted to stick with her New York apartment because she wanted to be closer to her job now that she's back at the Bugle. So that became a source of tension throughout the story, where like she said, it wasn't like a personal thing. She didn't. It wasn't because she wasn't serious about the relationship. It was just a career thing. But he still felt some type of way about it. Now, symbiote red suit Peter, was like, yeah, I understand. Intellectually, it still hurt me a little. Symbiote Peter might be a little more aggressive with that. He might feel this type of way, like, you ain't trying to live with me. Oh, it's like that. He might ask Felicia to move in. Who knows? He Symbiote Peter got that Black Air Force energy, so he might move in some different baddies to Aunt May crib. Who knows? Or he might even be tempted to rob some criminals, like Black Cat. He might get tired of being broke all the time. He's working on being a teacher right now. Teachers don't make that much anyway. So he might be like, I'm beating up all these criminals. Maybe Black Cat had the right idea. Maybe what's the harm in, beating up one of these drug dealers or whatever and stealing some of their stuff and using it so that I can pay my mortgage, It could be stuff like that. Black Cat versus Monica Rappaccini with Venom suit. So that we're getting Venom in a proper Spider-Man game. Facts. Black Cat has their own suit in the comments. Yeah, pretty much everyone gets symbiote at some point. There was the Venom version of Mary Jane. Scorpion was Venom. Norman was Venom. We've seen pretty much everyone be Venom. Harry was Venom. MJ said I don't do 50-50 in relationship. Yeah, MJ was definitely tripping in the first game. Like, man's literally just like, yo, maybe don't break into armed facilities with Saber agents without me being there. I have no idea what they're going to do with the DLC, but Carnage could be in the main game. They could save him for Spider-Man 3. We just don't have any way of knowing right now because there are just so many different angles they can do with the DLC. They could do Carnage. They could do Agent Venom. They could do Green Goblin. They could do Spider-Gwen. They could do Wraith. They have so many directions they could do with the DLC. That was going to destroy the May House. Imagine that'd be tough, actually. That was a nice house. Peter finally in a nice neighborhood. He doesn't have to live in that crappy New York apartment anymore. He's got a lawn. He can do barbecue in his backyard. What's up, Rebel? How you feeling? Appreciate your CDA. Miles has to versus Symbiote Peter. I mean, obviously we're gonna win. it's the game. If it comes down to the point where Peter and Miles have to fight, obviously for the sake of the story, Peter has to lose. It's just a matter of how he's gonna lose. Like when they like in the combat portion of that encounter, I know I'm gonna stomp Peter's head in. I'm gonna trash him. But they might soften it for the cutscene. But I know if they turn over the gameplay to me and not some cutscene stuff, and we actually get a fair one, I'm going to wreck Peter. Like no diff. Like it's gonna be. I'm just gonna body him. It's gonna be a massacre. He's not gonna get a hit in. Like Miles Morales' combat is different, bro. Peter's cool, and when he gets the symbiote, he's got the tentacles. All that's cool. Miles is different, bro. Miles is on some other stuff, bro. I will destroy Peter with Miles. Like Miles' powers are too crazy. As a New Yorker, the most unrealistic thing is them all having large apartments, but make at least 100. I mean, is Peter apartment really that large? Wasn't it like only one? Wasn't it only like a 1-room apartment? I don't think his apartment is that big. It's definitely a trope, and like Friends was definitely unrealistic. with how how they were living. But I feel like Peter's apartment is pretty mid. Like it's basically a small studio. Like I think it's definitely fair that Peter is living there and struggling on a journalist salary. That not even a journalist, like a photographer salary. That makes sense to me. He's doing part-time at the Bugle, then he eventually leaves the Bugle. He was working as a lab assistant, which is grant and funding based with Octavius, and he ended up not being able to even afford the place, so he didn't even know, so he wasn't able to afford it. So yeah, I think they handled that pretty realistically. Not only was it a small apartment, he literally couldn't afford it. That's why he got evicted and had to crash at Feast and eventually crashed at MJ's place before eventually moving it back in to Aunt May's house after she passed away. So yeah, I think that was pretty realistic. So I think Pete will live in Aunt May's house in the third game. He lives there in the second game, so I don't see why he wouldn't live there in the third game unless the house gets destroyed. I appreciate that dollar super chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think he'll still be, as long as the house doesn't get destroyed during the shenanigans. I don't see, or he loses it. I don't see why not. He's working on his teacher certificate, so once he's able to teach, especially if he gets a job at Empire State, his money should be stable enough where he won't have to worry about the mortgage. He can always get a roommate too now that he's in a house. He didn't have that option before, really, in his apartment before. But now that, he's in a house, he could always, rent it out if he really needed the money. Or maybe eventually MJ will stop tripping and just move in with him instead of sticking with her apartment just so she could be a bit closer to the Bugle. How much the Queens of BK are going to show? Well, the map is double the size of the previous game. I'm guessing a lot. Get DLC for Gwen, Venom, Black, or even Wraith in this game, or if there would be solo games, they'd be the most playable Spider-Man characters. Yeah, I think Black Cat in particular would be very popular if she was playable. So I played Destiny. I played Destiny 2 for like a month and then uninstalled it. It was fun while I was playing it, but I was like, I'm not about to dive into this and start buying, DLCs because I'm a content creator. I'm like, if I can't make regular videos about this, then I'm wasting my time and money. But it was fun. It definitely makes me wish Avengers had copied Destiny properly, because if they were able to implement the multiplayer the way Destiny set it up with the big maps, the patrol, and everything like that, Avengers would have been incredible. Imagine if the symbiote destroys Aunt May's house, like what happened with Venom and Eddie's. Oh, that would be tough. Peter finally gets a house, and it gets destroyed. I'm sure it's insured, but yeah, they'd have to get it rebuilt. He have to go back and live with MJ again until it gets rebuilt. Hopefully, he keeps it away from the house. I think he's gonna fight Venom in like Coney Island. I think that's where that fight. One of the places that fight's gonna happen is Coney Island. Queens, I think, is basically where, because Queens is pretty big, so I don't think they're gonna fight at his place. I think the fight. I think we will see the part of Queens where we saw them fighting was because they were at Connor's house trying to find a lizard. So I think I think his house will be safe. I think Andrew Garfield should get the symbiote. I think he's perfect just the way he is. So I am looking forward to Tom getting the symbiote. Yeah, if Avengers had actually correctly copied off of Destiny, it would be like the biggest game in the world right now. I don't think it's going to be a Web of Shadows type of game where it's like symbiotes all over the city, but I don't know, who knows. Najee Jeter, the Miles Morales voice actor, did say the symbiotes is everywhere, so I guess we'll see. Vendors should absolutely done payable DLC. That's what I don't get. That's why I was confused about Gotham Knights as well. Like obviously Avengers business model was completely nonsense, but everyone else got to see that it was complete nonsense. So I'm not sure why Gotham Knights decided that they're going to release free DLC, because with the Arkham games, they were like, oh, well, here's the season pass and we'll add stuff to the season pass. And Gotham Knights, I felt like if they had just did a season pass, it would have been great. It would have been great because it would have funded future content, or at very least funded the content that they did. It felt weird that they did 2 free DLC and then but wouldn't commit to future DLC or really commit to anything. This is weird to me because the game didn't sell badly, and if you intended to make DLC, why not monetize it? I don't understand. I didn't understand it. Make a season pass, and if people buy the season pass, that tells you there's a demand for it. So then use those funds to develop more DLC. Imagine if we can go outside of Queens and Brooklyn and New York and visit different other cities. Out no, I mean, like non-New York, like you mean leaving the state? Yeah, that's not happening. But anytime soon, at least. But yeah, for sure. There's you're going to have the parts of the map from Miles Morales and Spider-Man PS4. They're going to have that. They're going to bring that over. Plus, the additions of different boroughs, Brooklyn, Queens. You're going to have Coney Island as a location. So it's definitely going to be huge. Is the New York going to be I don't think New York is going to be completely destroyed, but it's definitely going to be roughed up a bit. I mean, New York is a pretty giant place. You know, there's New York City, there's New York State. I think the areas that Venom is terrorizing will definitely be a little battle damage, but and the symbiotes, if the symbiotes are, you know, if it's not just one symbiote going from different hosts, but like a Web of Shadows type of event where symbiotes are taking over, you know, then yeah, it'll definitely be an issue. But I think New York will survive. It always does in these games. So I think, yeah, for sure. They doubled the map size. Sequels always look to increase upon the last game. So they doubled the size of the maps for this game. And then they'll do it again for the next one until we've covered all the boroughs. And then after that, maybe they'll expand it outside of the cities, you know, to New Jersey or, you know, upstate, you know, Buffalo or who knows. So there is a lot of New York to cover, a lot of New York. It's going to be pretty wild. If you remember the previous game maps, you can kind of get a glimpse of the parts that aren't covered, and in the gameplay trailer, Craven has a map of, you know, of pretty much the whole game, and you can kind of get a sense of the scale of some of the locations. It's going to be pretty crazy. What hero, if any, do you think could appear in a game? I definitely made a video about that. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. But I know there was Iron Man VR apparently being teased as an Easter egg in that game. There's an Easter egg that links it to the Insomniac Spider-Man universe. But the Brian Intihar, the creative director, specifically mentioned Marvel characters that are based in New York being in here because of Kraven. I made a vid. That's why I focused my video on. And we know Daredevil is in the Insomniac universe. Matt Murdock met Peter and gave him his business card and mentioned Spider-Man specifically. So Daredevil is active in Insomniac's New York, and he's practicing as Matt Murdock and as Daredevil. He's over in Hell's Kitchen probably, but he knows Peter. He knows he's Spider-Man. They've met, so that's a possible if they're going to go cameos. Daredevil is the biggest cameo that we'll likely see. Obviously, there's Avengers Tower, and there's Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. So those are outside possibilities because Avengers Tower, Avengers could show up at any time. And they mentioned in Spider-Man PS4 that they were on the West Coast. But there's also the Sanctum Sanctorum, and we know they introduced magic for the first time with the prequel comic where Peter took down the Hood and his gang because the Hood was trying to use the Lifeline tablet. So them giving us a glimpse of magic there could be an indicator that they're planning to do it in the future, in the actual game, if not Spider-Man 2 in the future games. But if they do want to explore magic, then Doctor Strange is in New York. Sanctum Sanctorum's right there. You want to see a Daredevil game from Insomniac? Facts. They would destroy that. That would be amazing. Luke Cage should be there. I don't know. I don't remember seeing a Luke Cage Easter egg, but yeah, we know Avengers Tower is there. We know Daredevil and all his people are there. And Doctor Strange is there. I think Jessica Jones is there as well. So Luke Cage is probably somewhere in New York as well. Right, actually might be Insomniac hinting at Moon Knight existing. Oh yeah, I would not be surprised if they include an Easter egg with that suit or somewhere in the game that ties Moon Knight into the Insomniac universe for sure. You just see web climbing. I definitely want to do some wall sliding. I hope we get that. That was so cool in Spider-Man PS4 in the cinematic. I want to do that in the game. Iron Fist could be there. Watch the 2020 gameplay. It had Kraven's accent in his voice. Why would I watch? What we already knew Kraven. We knew Kraven was going to be in the game. Yeah, we already knew that. As soon as we heard the voice and talking about looking for an equal, we knew that was Kraven. I know what you mean. With Venom, no, those are separate voices. Those are completely separate voices. What's up, Porter? Appreciate you. Kraven is definitely not Venom. I'll tell you that right now. But the 2020 reveal trailer, the narrator was Kraven, and then they switched to Venom, who was a completely different voice. The voice actor for Kraven and the voice actor for Venom are completely different. Those are completely different scenes. Kraven was narrating the overall trailer, and then they cut to Venom. to give us a preview of Venom, what he looks like, what he sounds like. And those are two completely different voice actors. Kraven wasn't even added into Spider-Man 2. Like, they didn't even include him in their plans for Spider-Man 2 until deeper into development of the game. They've been planning Venom since the first game. Since the first Spider-Man PS4 game, they planned out who Venom is going to be. And Kraven, they didn't even plan on having Kraven in the game until later in development. Definitely go subscribe to Hoarder. When you first heard Kraven's voice, you thought it was Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah, that's every time I think of Juggernaut, that's all I hear. So I didn't get that at all. As soon as I heard the voice, I was like, oh, it's Kraven. That sounds like Kraven. Can you tell you how ability in Spider-Man 2 is going to work? It's going to work just like the first game. The difference that they added is the ability wheel. So the ability wheel will have different commands associated with different moves, and each of the moves have cooldowns. This will be in addition. It will work similar to the gadget menu, except these will be specifically for abilities. You'll still have your gadget wheel, but you're going to have your ability wheel where you'll hit your I think it's like L1, and there's going to be a button associated with it. We've seen this mechanic in a bunch of other games, but yeah, you hit one of the commands, it triggers one of the abilities, you do the ability, it goes on cooldown. Pretty straightforward. Symbiote Peter will have different symbiote based moves that we saw in the gameplay trailer. I mean, if you watch the game, definitely watch the gameplay trailer again, because they showed all this in the gameplay trailer. You can see the different button presses correspond of the ability wheel correspond to different abilities that Peter does as the symbiote, and you can see the abilities go on cooldown after he uses them. We see the same thing in the Miles Morales gameplay section. He has different electrical abilities that he can switch to. There's blue lightning, there's yellow lightning as well. So you'll be able to activate those abilities, and there'll be a cooldown. I'm assuming there'll also be some skill that you unlock on the skill trees for each, where you can reduce the cooldowns for the abilities, increase the effectiveness of the abilities. You know, we know how these RPG type games work. You pretty much expect. Pretty much, we can expect how that's all going to work. Miles and Peter, Miles's ability tree, Miles's ability wheel is focused on his different electrical powers. Symbiote Peter is focused on the symbiote suit abilities, and non-symbiote Peter, his ability wheel is focused on gadgets, so specifically the iron arms. Hope we have as many villains as the first game. Yeah, there was definitely a lot. San Diego Comic-Con starts on July 20th, and the specific event that you're going to want to look at, which we talked about earlier. But if you're just getting in here and missed it, we're going to be live streaming this when it happens, and it's looking like it's going to be the Marvel Next Big Thing, which is happening Saturday, July 22nd at 3 p.m. West Coast time. And if you're at San Diego Comic-Con, it'll happen in room 6A. So we're going to be covering that live on the channel, because Marvel is going to be having live streams where they're going to be covering all their panels, and I think their VP of digital is going to be one of the hosts, Ryan Panagos, and we're gonna be co-streaming it. I might do one of the other Marvel panels, but the main one is going to be on Saturday. That's the big one that we're going to be waiting for. I'm pretty sure they showed all of Peter's abilities in the gameplay trailer on the symbiote wheel. Pretty sure they showed all of them. Is another yeah, they're definitely showing another trailer. I think the San Diego Comic-Con reveal is going to be the trailer that shows the deluxe edition suits, like they said they were going to do. I think that's, to me, that's the most likely. The deluxe edition suit trailer, I think, is most likely what they're going to reveal at Comic-Con. Because remember, Comic-Con, there's going to be a lot of stuff, not just promoting, but they're going to be selling stuff. So they're going to be selling the Spider-Man 2 poster. They're probably going to have the keychains and stuff like that for sale. I think it would make sense for Sony to focus on using this to drive sales further. So I would say they drop a new trailer showcasing the deluxe edition suits, and they announce the Spider-Man PS5 custom controller and the PlayStation 5 plates for sale. And then maybe there's an interview with Brian Intihar, and he talks a little bit more about the game and shows maybe some screenshots, some concept art. That's what I'm predicting is most likely to happen at San Diego Comic-Con. What's up, Adam? Doing good. How are you? Yeah, comic digital deluxe trailer, custom controller and PlayStation 5 plate announcement, and interview with Brian Intihar. That's what I'm thinking will be San Diego Comic-Con during that panel. Said L1 circle was missing from the gameplay. Yeah, I gotta watch it back, but yeah, I think they definitely showed most of. I remember seeing most of the Peter gameplay. I thought by the end, like, everything was on cooldown, but I'll probably watch it right now while I'm chatting, just to see what abilities he had left on cooldown by the end of it. But I definitely remember they showed a lot of his abilities. I'm looking at a trailer right now. So the giant fist is L1 square. The ability where he kind of transformed into tendrils and jumped up in the air and dove at them and knocked them up in the air. It knocked them up in the air. That's L1 triangle. Both of them look very cool. Cooldowns are kind of long too, which makes sense. Those moves are pretty tough. Yeah, I think they showed all of them except one, because this is the takedown. Yeah, so the symbiote, the ability where he shoots out the tendrils and grabs all four of them and slams them. Yeah, that's X. Yep. So they showed everyone. They showed all of the symbiote abilities except except the circle. You'll love Mysterio. Mysterio is so good. Like they did such a cool job with how it looked, where Peter got poisoned by Scorpion's venom and was having those hallucinations. Like I can imagine the boss battle with Mysterio being like that, where he's using all this technology to create all these illusions. Like if they can have something like that for the Mysterio boss fight, that would be so much fun. Because it added different mechanics too. Like the Mr. Negative stuff was whatever. That was, I mean, it looked great. You know, it was cool. But that whole section where you're swinging through the city, poisoned on venom, on a scorpion venom, and you're dodging giant stingers, and then you go into what looks like another dimension, and you're fighting the like that. That whole thing was crazy. I love that. I love that part. If you missed it, we just been going over the Spider-Man 2 stuff from Comic-Con. I have a new video dropping tomorrow on a big Spider-Man 2 announcement that's coming up. Should be exciting. Sin Eater in this game we fire as well. Yeah, according to a leaker, Sin Eater seems to be in the game, but we'll have to see when the actual game comes out. But that consistent. Some of those early leaks were from people. The one was from a playtester that kind of said that they're basically investigating a serial killer or something, which sounds like a Wraith thing, and they already confirmed in the rating for the game that there's going to be a dead body getting turned over. So somebody gets offed, which means either Venom or Wraith or Sin Eater. So that actually checks out. That leak in particular checks out. Spider-Man's ultimate nemesis is, yeah, I think it, based on the history, Dr. Octopus is probably the biggest nemesis. Maybe Green Goblin. Yeah, Green Goblin's so iconic, but so it's probably Green Goblin, but Venom is the most famous and most popular. Big question: will we have an insane mathematician that wants to be a god? I hope there's no more. I hope they. One thing I do hope they carry over. Speaking of math hoarder, is I liked how you can they gave you the option to skip the puzzles. I don't want to be doing math. I don't want to be doing puzzles and color rearranging in my Spider-Man game. I play a Spider-Man game because I want to punch bad guys in the face and swing around the city. I don't want to do math. I want the option to skip the puzzles. So keep that accessibility. It's good for accessibility in general, because not everyone can actually literally do the stuff. But yeah, I like that option. Speed through, especially when you're trying to speed run the game. Yeah, let me skip the stuff. But yeah, if since they do confirm there will be dead bodies getting turned over, that could be Sin Eater, that could be Wraith, that could be Venom, or that could be Cletus. It could be any of them. Because if that playtest, that alleged playtest was right about them investigating this stuff, then yeah, to me it makes most sense that it's Wraith related. But if they wanted to introduce Carnage, then yeah, it would also make sense if that person was Cletus. And we think it's Sin Eater, it turns out to be Cletus. That'd be a cool twist. I'm only glad that it's less colorful than Miles Morales. Well, we haven't seen all of it, but I think it's definitely going to be there's definitely going to be some colorful parts of this game because one of the locations is Coney Island. I think this is the golden age of Marvel games. In terms of quality, sure. I mean, we I mean you can argue the opposite easily because currently if you look at the Marvel games right now on the market, you have Marvel's Avengers, one of the biggest failures in gaming history. You have Insomniac's Spider-Man games, which is just Insomniac and just Spider-Man. They're great, but that's just one company, one series of games. And Wolverine hasn't come out yet, but we know that's coming. But again, it's from Insomniac. I mean, you have Marvel's Midnight Suns, which was amazing, but niche. It's a lot of people don't like turn-based card strategy games. And then you have Guardians of the Galaxy, which didn't sell as well, but beloved game. But and everything else is like pay to win mobile games. We have interesting stuff that's coming out in the future that we assume will be quality. But in general, when I was growing up, we had a lot more quantity of superhero games. And they were more accessible. Like the Insomniac games are the best, but they're only on PlayStation. When I was a kid, you had Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions, and you had Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie games, and you had Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie games. Xbox players could experience Spider-Man games. You had an open world Superman game. You had different open world Hawk and movie tie-in Hawk games. You had Captain America and Iron Man games, and you had Thor games. You had Green Lantern games. You had superhero games all over the place when I was growing up. And now the numbers have shrank dramatically. The overall quality is great in terms of what Somniac is delivering and what we think is going to be the quality of the motive Iron Man game, because that's going to be an Unreal 5. But I wouldn't call this exactly a golden age for superhero gaming in particular. Web of Shadows still got the best combat. For a boy who grew up Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions, you can't wait to see what they took. For sure. Damn, I'm young. Your childhood games were things like Spider-Man and Venom and Separation Anxiety. Travis is another old timer, apparently going to be Web Shadows 2.0, so you're hype. Yeah, I definitely wish, and for sure, some of the movie tie-in games were not very good, but I missed the quantity. Games are taking general longer, and there's less superhero games, particularly from DC. I hope we get back to more quantity, but with still quality. And I think that's the ball is mainly in DC's court in that regard, because Marvel is, for their part, coming out with new games for the consoles. Insomniac is doing their part, obviously, with Spider-Man 2, and now Wolverine is coming after that. Skynet's New Media has their Captain America and Black Panther game. EA is doing at least three different Marvel games, including Iron Man, and DC's doing Wonder Woman, and WB Games Montreal has an unannounced DC game that might be Superman. So I hope DC takes a cue from Marvel and just comes out with more games in general. Like, they also are coming out with a card game as well to kind of challenge Marvel Snap, which looks pretty cool. But in general, I think DC definitely needs more games, for sure. The more superhero games, the better. I remember the PS1 Spider-Man games. They're still actually very good if you're not obsessed with graphics. you can still, yeah, you can still have some fun with them, but yeah, to me, yeah, once you get the PS1, I'm like, yeesh. It's kind of rough. I'm kind of spoiled by modern gaming. X-Men, for the love of God, EA X-Men. I do hope one of the EA games is X-Men related for sure. Suicide Squad game is still coming. Is it though? We just talked about that earlier. How many times has that been delayed? At this point, I need to see it to believe it. I need to see it in the store to believe it. I believe Suicide Squad is coming out when the pre-orders are live. wake me up when the pre-orders are live on the PlayStation Store. When I could go on Amazon and see Kill the Justice League, Suicide Squad, I'll believe it. only when I physically complete my purchase. Until then, I'm skeptical. I'm not holding my breath. Only one of the brothers didn't cancel the Rocksteady Super. Yeah, I feel like they're regretting that one. That was definitely an old regime decision that I think they're correcting. Because I'm 40% sure that the WB game, we'll go 60. Well, 60% sure the WB Games Montreal open world Unreal Engine 5 game is Superman. We'll go 60. I was talking to the president of WB Games Montreal, and I was trying to get him to tell me if the next game they're working on was Superman, but he's a true professional. He would not tell me. I was trying to get him to kind of wink or nod something, but he wasn't having it. He wasn't having it. If he did, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but the only reason I'm able to tell you is because he was like, nah, wait, I'm not giving nothing away, which I respect. Smart man, likes the job, facts. Even though he's the boss, he definitely has people he has to answer to. So definitely wants to, and I wouldn't want to ruin the surprise if they're planning an official announcement at like Comic-Con or the Game Awards. You know, I want that surprise, that full reveal. Is Marvel Spider-Man 2 going to be like a horror jump scare? There's going to be those elements. If you rewatch the gameplay trailer, they had those elements in there. The gameplay trailer should pretty much give you an idea of what you're going to expect. You know, you had stuff that's familiar from the previous games, and then you had the Miles Morales section, which was a little more horror with some jump scares in there. Would I ever have a PS1? Will I ever get one? Nah. I have one. It doesn't work anymore. But I'm not so much of a collector that I would buy one. Unless it was like extremely cheap. I don't think there's going to be anything Spider-Verse related in Spider-Man 2 except for costumes. I'll always go digital. I got the physical version of the PS5, but only because of supplies. I always get digital. I stream my movies. I buy games from the PlayStation Store. I don't everything I still have a bunch of old DVDs and VHS tapes just for collector's sake. But for new stuff, it's always digital. What's my favorite symbiote move from Web of Shadows? I don't think I have one, but I do what aspect of Web of Shadows that I hope they bring back is the fact is where you can lift up cars and throw them and just throw them. like in the previous games you can like, you know, throw scaffolding and manhole covers and stuff at people, and you can throw actual people. I want you to just straight up lift up a car like in Web of Shadows and just chuck it at somebody. that would be amazing. I love that in a Web of Shadows. That was so funny. I've not bought a single physical PS5 game. Every PS5 game I've gotten has been digital. I think the only physical games I even have, for recent ones at least, are for PS4. I don't have a single physical PS5 game. I think that the symbiote, the Superior Spider-Man story is theirs to do. They've perfectly set it up. I don't think they're going to do it. But it's definitely something they could do because they've already laid the groundwork for it. They've established a replacement for Spider-Man in case something happens in Miles Morales. They've already introduced Doc Ock and had his whole arc. They have Doc Ock is very sick, and he's in the raft. They have all the pieces in place for a Superior Spider-Man story. You know, as Miles Spider says to not trigger, symbiote Peter jumps through the roof. True. Also, I don't think it was a threat. The Spider Sense is supposed to warn you of danger, and I don't think there was any particular danger there. But I do think that they are likely to implement the whole, when you fight Venom, the whole no Spider Sense thing. I think that's a feature they're definitely going to bring back, which it makes sense to do so. I appreciate everyone hanging out. This is actually fun. I think we can do this. We'll try to do this weekly, every Wednesday. If there's Spider-Man 2 news, we'll do a roundup and we'll talk about some stuff. These are fun to do. Be on the lookout for my video dropping tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to finish my video so that I can get it out tomorrow and get some food because I haven't eaten yet today. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate all the support. We're so close to 50K, so definitely drop a sub if you haven't already. I'll see you all tomorrow for the video that I have dropping for Spider-Man 2, unless there's something crazy that happens today, and then I'll do a quick update. Otherwise, we got tomorrow. Appreciate you, Hoarder, Lucky Ray. See everybody, see all the members over on the Discord side. ! Join if you want to talk and hang out there later on with us. I'm Sadot the Gamer, signing out.